I got a lot of issues I want to cover, but of course, the big news in the news today is this massive U.S. airstrike that the president ordered on Christmas Day in Nigeria. And I want to talk about this and take your calls. And I got a lot of um, uh, questions that I want to ask you, and I got a lot of other topics I want to cover as well. But this attack on ISIS is, of course, in response to ISIS kidnapping and murdering Christians. And President Trump warned them this was coming, and it came, and it happened, and here it is. And, you know, we've been seeing stories in the news for as long as I can remember about Christians being persecuted, murdered, arrested, violated in the worst ways people can be violated. My entire life around the world. And until the president made this airstrike on ISIS in Nigeria on Christmas yesterday, I have no recollection. Now, again, you can call and share with me where this has happened, but I have no recollection of a president of the United States, other than President Trump, standing up and taking action against Christians like this, right? You know, ISIS has been doing terrible things to Christians, and not just ISIS, but over the decades, different groups have been doing terrible things. When have we seen a president stand up and say, you're not going to kill or do anything else to Christians around the world? And if you do, we're coming to get you. And, you know, the things that have been going on against Christians, these are martyrs. These are Christian martyrs that we're dealing with here. And, you know, the way I would describe what's been going on against Christians around the world my entire life, and I was thinking pretty hard about this. When has a president of the United States taken action, military action, to against those who do these terrible things to Christians? Simply because they're Christian. I'm not talking about some military action that had another. This military action is 100% in response to the persecution of Christians by ISIS. I have no memory of any president doing anything like that to defend Christians against this. And what happens with these Christians around the world, it's crazy. I mean, you know, here we are in America, we're a Christian country, and have done nothing until now to stand up against Christians having these issues that they have to deal with. And you know, and Christians are being persecuted all over this world. In China, it's illegal to be Christian. There are people in prison just simply for being Christian. It's illegal to own a Bible. They bulldoze their homes. I mean, what goes on is insane. I remember a few Olympics back that were in Beijing, and this might have been the one when George W. Bush was president. There was actually a discussion as well as to whether or not Olympic athletes would be allowed to bring their Bibles with them to the Olympic Games in China. You know, these Christians have been literally, not figuratively, literally been thrown to the lions. I'm still sick, guys, so bear with me. I'm due for another dose of NyQuil, which I'll take in a minute. But they've literally been thrown into the lion's den and eaten by the lions. And then it's a little blip in the news about this big, and that's it. It's almost like it's not even worthy of a major news story. And it is. And it's wrong. And no more. And this is part of the great reset that's going on with President Trump in this entire world. He's not, you know, he's making not just America great again, he's making the world great again. Because, you know, the United States, after World War II, became the big stabilizing force in the country. And what's happened is we've had these lunatic profiteers and military-industrial complex-backed presidents of both parties, other than Trump, of course, that have destabilized the planet on many, many ways. Economically, there's all these wars, this. And if you persecute Christians around the world, President Trump's coming to get you. It will no longer be tolerated. It's a strong message. I'm not going to go through the details of the airstrikes and everything else. They can have military analysts on television and pundits kill time with that. That's not important. What's important here is Christian martyrdom is not going to be something that we just say, well, they've been martyred and okay. It's not okay to persecute Christians. Now, I know the left in this country, they think that, the liberals in this country, and many of them would even tell you they're a Christian, liberals in this country will tell you that Christians deserve this persecution. Because right now what's going on in this country with the Somali community, which I'm going to cover in a little bit, there's a major attempt to wipe out Christianity in this country by the left. And if the liberals, they call themselves democratic socialists now. If you go around the world to wherever socialist, communist, hardcore liberals take over, right? What's the first thing the socialists do? They do away with the church. And the reason they don't want the church, when I say the church, I mean, Christianity as a whole, not just, I'm Catholic, but not just Catholics, but also, Protestants. What they do is wipe all that out because Christianity has a standard of morality that gets in the way of what the communist, the socialist, and the liberals want to do. And President Trump's like, and we, like as an example, George W. Bush wore his Christianity on his sleeve and told his born-again story many times. Did he ever do something like this, standing up for Christians? I don't think so. I don't remember it. No. And I remember in the first campaign, when Trump ran for president the first time, and he said 2 Corinthians, he's not a Christian, he's not a Christian. President Trump is the most Christian president we've had in our lifetime. You remember about, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, a few weeks back, President Trump was doing one of those press gaggles on Air Force One when he stands in the doorway, and he was talking to the reporters, and then he said he wasn't sure he was going to go to heaven. And of course, what the Democrats and the Never-Trumpers say, and what they grab onto with that, is, his deportations, he's sinning, and all this stuff. President Trump does not use military forces lightly. He has been an anti-war, conscientious objector his entire life. He was opposed to the war in Vietnam. He was opposed to the invasion of Iraq. The George W. Bush's war of Iraq with Cheney. And when he said he's worried about going to heaven, I think what he was talking about were all these military strikes that he's had to order during his 2 terms where people have been killed. And he feels responsible for all these deaths. And sadly, these are things that he has to do and that have to be done. And no one else has done it. There's a Islamic crusade against Christianity going on right now. You look at this thing that they've been promoting over Christmas, which is disgusting. There was an ad in New York, and it's all over social media, that Jesus was a Palestinian. Not only is that inaccurate and offensive, because it is all those things, and disgusting, it's a very clever propaganda phrase that they created, that Jesus was a Palestinian. And this is going to be something that becomes the new thing with the left and the Muslims in this country. They're going to continue to push this. And what they're trying to do is rewrite history, rewrite our Bible, and everything else. And liberals are already buying into that nonsense. It's only a matter of time before some liberal historian writes that in a history book, because that's what they are attempting to do. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and expose all this and call it out every time I see it on this program, each and every day. And, here we are, people talk about New Year's resolutions. I'm not into New Year's resolutions, but I will tell you this, as we approach the end of this year and 2026 is upon us in a week, next year I want to ask you to join me in one goal: a Donald Trump MAGA victory in the midterms. If we do not win the midterms, these people that are promoting Jesus was a Palestinian will be in control of this government. They will, if they take control of the Congress, they will impeach President Trump on a weekly basis and those will be the people that'll be calling the shots. That Jesus was a Palestinian crew. And this country is a conservative country. It is a MAGA country. The majority of the people are behind President Trump. And the work he's doing in this second term are things that are universally good for Americans. And this election, there's that phrase, it's ours to lose. That is so true here. There's only one way we can lose the midterm elections. Only one way. And that is if we don't turn out. We need to have a turnout the size of a presidential election. Swamp them at the polls. Remember, that was the phrase that the president used in the last presidential election. Swamp them at the polls. If we have a massive turnout, we will win. We will only lose if we have a low turnout. Mamdani won in New York because of low turnouts. He won the primary because of a low turnout. He won the general election because of a low turnout. Remember, he only got about 16% of the vote in New York, of registered voters. People stayed home because they were convinced that Mamdani was unbeatable. Well, he's unbeatable if people don't go out and vote. And that's how Mamdani won. Same is true with the midterms. If you notice, everyone is talking. Historically, the party in power loses in the midterms, so we're likely to lose. That's Loserville talk. If you accept that, you'll suppress our turnout. We'll have a low turnout, and we will lose. But President Trump is not a normal president. He's back not just for a second term, it's a non-consecutive term where they spent the 4 years in between trying to kill him on multiple occasions, shooting him once, arresting him multiple times, locking up his campaign managers in prison, putting his attorneys in prison, arresting staffers and putting them in jail too. And he came back for a second term. A man who can do that can do anything. He literally dodged a speeding bullet. And we need to spend this next year telling people we can and will win the midterms if we have a massive turnout. And we can make a massive turnout happen. You're going to vote, aren't you? Make sure your friends and family vote. Take them with you if you have to. That goes for the primaries as well, because in the primaries, we don't need any fake rhino Republicans winning primaries. We need MAGA Republicans winning primaries. And then we need those MAGA Republicans to go on to victory in the general election, not just for the House, not just for the Senate, but our governors and our state legislatures too, and local elections. Are you going to let these Jesus was a Palestinian people retake control of this government? That's crazy. That's not where this country is at right now. The country is behind President Trump and what he wants. Now, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I got a lot of things I want to cover on the program today. It is Friday, the Friday after Christmas, and always Friday on the program is Open Phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday, but you don't have to be MAGA to call in. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I bring up. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm going to take a quick break so I can take some NyQuil. We'll come back with your calls, and I got a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian Craig, back after this.
Protecting homes like yours.
All right, I took the Dayquil during the break, and Dayquil takes between 20 and 30 minutes to kick in, so I probably should have taken it when I went out to get my coffee this morning. All right, if you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John. I'm from Oklahoma.
Hey, John, what's up?
Yeah, you talked about a lot of justification for the strikes in Nigeria this evening. I guess my question is, why isn't there any reason why there hasn't been action to other places like the Uyghurs in China, where there's documented incidents where there's people that's been like hurt over
Okay,
there as well?
so Okay, now before I will answer that question, but before I do, is that a serious question or are you just like pulling my leg? Because that's a ridiculous question you asked. But I'll answer
No, it
it.
is a very serious question.
Okay, a serious
No,
question.
it's very serious. Like, what is your justification for it?
Okay,
I guess
you said
I'm
why.
new
Okay,
to
no,
your show.
I heard the question.
Yeah.
I heard you. Okay, so
Yeah.
just to restate this, you're asking why attack the Christian killers of ISIS in Nigeria and not China, who's persecuting Christians? What does China have that Nigeria doesn't?
I assume some lighter colored people. I'm not sure. I don't know. What are you trying to get at?
Well, what am I trying to get at? They have nuclear weapons. China has nuclear weapons. Nigeria does not, correct? They have a very large navy. They have a large army. And they have an air force. They even have space vehicles, okay? They send Chinamen into space. So what you're wondering is why we don't start a nuclear holocaust? Is that really your question?
That wasn't my question. My question was,
well, now
why highlight a certain area like Nigeria when there's other areas that have the same thing?
Because we can't do anything like against ISIS. But Nigeria worked with us. Nigeria cooperated with the United States in coordinating the ISIS strikes. China, we can't go and attack China. It would cause a global nuclear holocaust. We'd all be dead. Does that make sense? Or do you want to have a nuclear holocaust?
No one wants a nuclear holocaust.
Okay,
but my question is,
I answered your question.
That was an example, right? There are other areas in the world.
Oh, so now you want to change? Oh, now you want to go to somewhere else? No, you specifically said China. So respond to what I said. Now, do you see why we don't bomb China? That'd be pretty stupid, wouldn't it?
I think it's silly that you're highlighting the example I gave and not answering the whole.
It was the example you gave. I responded to the question you gave me with your example, and now that you feel like a dummy because I explained it, you weren't thinking clearly. You're trying to move on to another topic now.
You're a silly person. I think I'm so glad you answered my call, though. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Also, you're surrendering, cowering out.
No. If you want to talk more, I would love to talk more.
Yeah.
I would really.
I answered your question, and you haven't responded. You're trying to move on to another discussion. You agree with me that attacking the Christian persecutors in China would cause a global nuclear holocaust, so that's why we don't do it. So Trump is smart not to bomb China, correct?
I think that it is a lot smarter to bomb a country that does not have nuclear weapons than it is one that does not.
We didn't bomb a country. Nigeria was worked with us. ISIS. We bombed ISIS. And Nigeria cooperated and helped us do it.
No, I think I'm not saying the justification for it, though, and the platform you're putting it on, I think is misrepresentative of the other places that are also.
Oh, so you want to bomb more places? So you support military bombing?
I think that if you support someone like Trump, who is taking out people who are hurting Christians, right, which is probably a good thing, that why are we not making action in other places that are also hurting Christians?
Because
and there's multiple places.
Because that is true, okay, but other places there's reactions, right? What's ISIS going to do? They barely exist anymore. President Trump almost wiped them out in his first term. They're back a little bit because of Biden, okay? Going after ISIS with the cooperation of the country that they're doing this in, Nigeria, is different than bombing Iran or China and other things with uncooperative countries that have weapons and militaries and air forces and navies, sometimes nuclear weapons. You can't fight every fight because the reaction would get more people killed. You have to do isolated surgical strikes like this one.
I get the strategy behind it, right? It's an easy
It's not
target.
strategy. It's
Take
common
care of it.
sense. It's common sense.
Well, I mean, strategy and common sense.
It's not easy.
hand in hand.
If anybody else was president, ISIS would be allowed to continue to kill and rape and murder Christians. No, any other president, it would have been allowed to happen. If Joe Biden or Kamala were president, they wouldn't step in.
But you keep highlighting Christian as like that is the priority. But there are other things in Africa, generally, right, that do not have nuclear weapons, that we're not going in and taking care
so
of.
you want Trump to invade and conquer Africa now?
No, I don't.
What do you want?
I don't want him striking anybody. I guess it's the whole thing.
No. Does that include the drug cartels?
I would assume so. Like, why would we strike somebody who's on a boat to the U.S.?
What a loser you
right?
are. What a strange thinking person you are.
I'm not finished with my statement. Can I finish it? Do you mind?
Sure. Tell me why it's not why we should let the cartels continue to kill Americans with their poison drugs.
The boats are already coming to the U.S.?
No, they're not anymore.
Let them come here?
Not anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd let me finish my sentence.
Oh, please, don't victim me. Go ahead. It's a conversation.
We know where the boats are. Let them come in, arrest them, be done. Why
Arrest
are we killing the boat? Why are we killing
them? So the boats stop coming. Hey, listen, welcome to the show. Call me again sometime. My goodness. Why are we killing them? Because they're killing us. It's a war. And if you notice, when they target the boats, they take them out in the middle of nowhere. See, if you let them in, if you let them in and arrest them here, the boats won't stop coming. All right, let's go. Some people are just stuck on stupid. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Steven from Sacramento. And I wanted to ask a controversial question. If there is a Black History Month, should we as America say there should be an Asian History Month or a Hispanic History Month, a Native American History Month,
Sure.
and even a White History Month?
You can have any history month you want. You can have Donut History Month for all I care. Sure. You can have the history. You can have a month dedicated to the history of hats. Sure, why not?
I'm just asking this because I feel that there is a huge conflict with Black Americans and America as a whole. Because I come from a biracial family, but I feel that in this current day and age, that Black people are othered by the power structure. Even if it's 4 Black police officers killing another Black man in Chicago, that it's the whole idea about the power struggle. And so this is why I'm bringing this question up, because a Black History Month is othering them in that sense, where we are saying, oh, you're not American, you're a Black American, right? So that's why I'm saying, if we're being consistent, should we not give History Month to all the other ethnicities?
Why? Fine. Yeah, you can have Eskimo History Month, Navajo History Month. Yeah, why not?
I see why not. I see why not. Why, that should be consistency.
Who cares? Black History Month is here because Black liberals wanted it. It's in February, the shortest month of the year. But black activists made that a thing. Black History Month.
I think Trump should make it a real thing. I think he should actually make that a thing.
It is.
Well, thanks for having me on. Happy holidays.
Are you okay?
Yes, I thought you would want to get some other callers on the line.
No, I'm here till 9. I know. I'm just curious. You said you think Trump should make that a thing. What should Trump make a thing?
I think he should.
What should he make a thing?
No, he should make White History Month, Hispanic History Month, Asian History Month. He should make that a real thing. If there's a Black History Month,
no, I don't think
then there should be a History Month for all the other ethnicities.
I don't support a White History Month. See,
why do you say that?
Well, the reason that there's a couple reasons why. Hold on, let me check my text here. Okay, it's Mike at the radio station. The reason I don't support White History Month, there's a couple of reasons. The reason that liberal-minded people like you push for
I'm not a liberal-minded person. No, I'm not liberal. That's why I'm asking this controversial question. If there's a Black History Month, why isn't there a White History Month? Why isn't there an Asian History Month?
Well,
why isn't there a Hispanic History Month?
I'm trying to answer, repeating the same. I'm trying to answer you, but repeating the same question over and over just makes me think that you went to school on the short school bus the way you're talking.
I'm sorry you hate your own people. I'm sorry you hate white people so much that you don't think they deserve a history month, but white people are another ethnicity in this world.
Excuse me. There's a couple of reasons I don't support a White History Month, but people can have any history month they want. The White History Month is a trap by liberal-minded people like you who want to portray white people and conservatives as Nazis. So White History Month would be like, oh, that's white supremacist month. That's one reason. Another reason is
history in that sense. Why is that supremacy? Why is that supremacy?
I didn't say that it was. I said that liberals would portray it as that, and it would be negative. But the reason Black history,
whether or not, however they portray it, is not the discussion. We're talking about.
I'm trying to answer your. I'm trying to answer your idiotic.
I'm asking you a question. Why can't white people have a history month?
Listen. I'm trying to answer your idiotic question, but you won't stop
There's
asking the question.
Okay, so you have the platform now. An answer. Why can't white people have a history month? If Black people can have a history month, why can't white people?
Excuse me for speaking while you're interrupting, but I am answering your question. It's a multi-part answer.
Okay, then go on and answer.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I gave you the first part. The second part is this. Black History Month came along in the mid-1980s. I was in middle school, and I remember when it was new. And in the 1980s, the history books and the textbooks were written by people in the 50s, 60s, and 1970s during the Jim Crow segregation era. And there was very little in history. History books are written by liberal college professors, Democrats. And there was very little in the history books of that time about non-white people's contributions to history. So Black History Month came along to counter that. That's why.
Right. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I feel like it's just such a broad term because when we're saying Black History Month, are there not different types of peoples on the African plain, just like in Asia? There's not just Chinese. There's, Laotian, Korean, Vietnamese. There's different peoples of that ethnicity.
Yeah, but there's only 12 months out of the year.
Right. I'm not trying to say that Black people haven't accomplished anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the Civil War was a huge deal, and there were Black slave owners. Native American people were slave owners, and at least America made some changes as a society and a country.
Well, hold on. While that is true in small numbers of slave owners, the slave owners were Democrats. Okay. And that's a fact. And the slaves were freed by the Republicans. I'd be satisfied with getting that in the textbook.
The Republican Party was started as the anti-slavery movement. The Republican Party was started as an actual anti-slavery movement. I know the history about the Democrat Party and the Republican Party.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Well, they're still on the plantation by the Democrat Party.
They're still
because
on the
they've
plantation.
been selling.
Are you kidding me? The
The
Democrat Party has been losing.
The Black family take a welfare check instead of having two parents in the household. Nobody's stopping them from getting married.
Can you tell me what year it is?
Black people should be getting married. Excuse me. Good for their children.
Can you tell me what year it is? What year is it?
It's 2025, and Black people are still blaming white people.
The reason I asked what year it was is because I thought that maybe through sunspots or the Aurora Borealis or something, you were hearing me from decades ago because you sound like a guy from 30 or 40 years ago. The Black vote has been moving.
You're telling me the Democrats
I'm speaking again while you're interrupting. The Black community and the Black vote have been moving to Trump for a decade, and the Democrats no longer have a lock on the Black vote. Listen, I got to run. But I appreciate the call. Call me another day, all right?
Well, happy holidays. Thanks for the discussion.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you, too.
What about Merry Christmas? Can you say it? No, he can't say Merry Christmas. He hung up. Can't say Merry Christmas. Another fake conservative, another liberal trying to sound like a white supremacist, if the Republicans and MAGA really are racist white supremacists, you liberals wouldn't have to pretend to be us and say stupid things like that. All right, and you proved I was right about your being a liberal when you refused to say Merry Christmas. All right, we got about a minute till the radio show starts. We are live. It is the day after Christmas. Welcome. The NyQuil's starting to kick, or the not NyQuil, DayQuil. Oh my goodness. If I took the NyQuil, I'd be asleep in a few minutes. The DayQuil is kicking in, which is good. We'll be on the air in less than a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Hmm. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. It is the day after Christmas. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. It is the day after Christmas. We are here live today. Hope everyone had a great and very Merry Christmas. And today is Friday, and Friday is open phones. Remember, open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I bring up, or Steve when he joins us. The number is 888-465-2631. I'll take a call or two, which I don't normally do, and then I'll get into the news stories. As I'm still under the weather. The DayQuil is just kicking in from my most recent dose. So it takes about 20 minutes, sometimes 30, but about 20 minutes I start to feel that it's kicking in. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Jonathan, calling from Texas.
Hey, Jonathan in Texas. What's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I just wanted to call. I don't know if there's any people on here that are kind of doubting what's going on right now. I just wanted to say my personal experience as far as what's been going on and the effects that Trump has had on the economy and my personal life.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was able to, since he came into office over the past year, I have been able to, I work a tip job and I work a lot of overtime. I work in the kitchen industry. I'm a cook. And because of that, due to the immigration laws that he's been passing with all the welfare being cut and people not being able to kind of illegally be here anymore, a lot of the job market has opened up. I've been able to double my income as a cook. I'm getting double the tax return this year because of how much.
Well, wait a minute. It is the day. How do you know you're getting double the tax return? You haven't filed taxes yet. It's only December 26th.
Well, I just did it based off of the no tax on tips and the new tax laws
you're estimating
on a tax calculator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my estimate is supposed to be double what's going on.
How have you doubled your pay as a cook? How'd that happen?
Well, because most of my pay is tips and overtime.
How do you get the tips as a cook? They have to share. The servers have to share with you.
Yeah, I work. It's not like a serving kind of thing. So I work as a cook, and pretty much what happens is you get tips. Like they tip you. It's like a kiosk, so they tip you when they buy their food. Depending on how many hours you work, you get part of that tip pool.
Oh, okay.
So it's literally like my base pay is like $14, but I make up to $25 in tips.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So like a lot of my pay comes from tips, and it's gonna equate to a much larger tax return.
Great.
And a lot of the apartments around here, because a lot of the people can't get Section 8 and subsidies anymore, are opening up. I was able to get an apartment in a much nicer area that has like double the size. It has like much more amenities, a nicer gym and everything, and it's cheaper than my current apartment
Wow.
in the ghetto and like a bad part of town.
The ghetto.
So it's just yeah, like it's just kind of crazy how like, yeah, I mean it's not, I don't know, it's not like, you know, Stockton, California, but it's you know, it's bad.
Well, that's all good.
But it's just
Great.
like, yeah, but it's just like everything's been improving so far. As far as like everything opening up and everything, and more opportunities opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Like in just my personal life, like it's just been kind of cool to see. I've seen a lot of crime go down. I've seen a lot of like places get better. It's just been kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, are the people that you work with in your restaurant, are they aware of how much money they have and will have in their pocket next year because of President Trump?
No, everybody's pretty much against him. A lot of my coworkers are still Spanish. They're citizens, but they're just, you know, it's still Spanish.
So what kind of food do you cook?
I cook. I do a German kind of food. It's like a Bavarian. It's like a German Bavarian called Coco's. It's got like, you know, sausages, pretzels, smash burgers. We got like chicken.
Oh, okay. And what is it? A kiosk like in a
shrimp.
mall or something?
No, it's like a restaurant, but it's not like it's like a bar sized restaurant. It's a restaurant connected to a bar.
Oh, okay. All right.
But they have like a bunch of locations across like stadiums across the nation.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, Trump is
Yeah,
making
like
your
the
life
Moody
better.
Center and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. That's good news.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, you have a good one.
All right. Take care. You know, a lot of people are going to find when they do their taxes, that's why we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. He's going to be joining us, I think, today in the 7 o'clock hour. And, it's not a coincidence that we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax, who's joined us as a sponsor here on the program in the last few weeks, because he's up to date on the big, beautiful bill taxes, all the tax cuts and deductions that you can get that you couldn't get before. But people that have never gotten a tax return or have gotten tax returns, but they haven't been that big, they're going to get massive returns this year. Massive return, if they call Jamie Levac, because he knows how to do it. And massive returns, life-changing money. And what that number is different for everyone. Some people, $500 is life-changing money. Some people, $100 is life-changing money. Some people, $5,000 is life-changing money. But you heard what this guy did. See, the economic cycle, capitalism, the left, they think that's all negative. They go trickle-down economics, voodoo economics, That's what capitalism is. And he already said he's got more money in his pocket because of the no tax on tips. And what did he do? He got a nicer apartment in a nicer part of town, in a nicer community than he had before. When people, and that's how the economy improves. When people have more money in their pocket, they spend it. Most people don't save it, they spend it. Especially people that are on the lower income side. And whatever they spend it on, it's fed back into the economy. So not only are millions of people going to be red-pilled when they do their taxes and they get those Trump tax cuts from the big, beautiful bill and those Trump refunds, and that doesn't even include the bonus we're going to get from our share of the tariffs over the summertime, they're going to be like, wow. And Democrats are going to be running on what? Ending the Trump tax cuts and, reversing the big, beautiful bill, which is putting life-changing amounts of more money in people's bank accounts. It's really amazing, and it's freaking out the Democrats because they know they've lost the pulse of the American people. They've lost their support, except in these very blue areas, New York and parts of California and such. There's always going to be Democrats and Democrat control areas. Now, we got a lot to cover on the program today, and I am going to cover quite a bit. But first, I want to talk about Friendly Tire. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate is open today. Go over there. Get new or used tires on your car. Remember, when you call Friendly Mike, the price he quotes you is out the door on the road, because for both new and used tires, Friendly Mike does not charge you to balance the tire, dispose of your old tires, or mount your new tires. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. Used tires out the door and on the road as low as $35 a tire. These are great tires. They're spectacular, and the price is out of this world low. He is open today and tomorrow. Go into Friendly Tire in Margate. Make sure you tell him I sent you. He'll take extra good care of you. Give Friendly Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire and Margate. We'll be right back. All right. Where am I going? Okay. All right, that's where I'm going to go next. All right, remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you're located in the United States. Give him a call. He's very, very good. In fact, Steve Kane's using him. He's already met with him. We've got less than a minute, and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, no matter where you're watching, is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Did any of you catch my live stream early this morning and go and watch the German in Venice talking about the Adam the Woo? Isn't that a little strange to you? Okay, less than 30 seconds. We'll be back. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We are live the day after Christmas. Although, I did a live stream yesterday morning, Christmas morning, on YouTube, and we did Christmas at my house on Christmas Eve, which I think is going to be a new tradition. I've done that a couple times over the years. I always liked it, but doing Christmas on Christmas Eve, my daughter came over. It was her first Christmas at our house in like 3 or 4 years because she just moved back from California. The grandparents came over. We had a great time. So I woke up on Christmas morning and I did a live stream, and it was I did a 4-hour live stream taking live calls yesterday morning on Christmas morning, and the calls were amazing, including. Did you guys tune in yesterday and hear the call from the transgendered guy? Oh my goodness. That was one of the classic calls I think I've ever had on this program after over 30 years. That was an amazing call and conversation with the transgendered guy. Didn't go so good for him, but it was an incredible call. But we had a lot of great conversations yesterday. If you missed that show, go on my YouTube channel and watch it. It's got Trump dressed up as Santa when you go to look at the video. But we just had some great calls and conversations. So, this strike against ISIS that President Trump did is just a phenomenal thing. And you remember, President Trump is an anti-war guy. He uses military strength very sparingly. And one of the reasons he's doing a massive military buildup with the battleships and all is as a preventative measure. But ISIS has been killing and raping and pillaging Christians. And you look, and I throw this out to you to remember what Charlie Kirk said, prove me wrong. But my entire life, I've been hearing stories of Christian persecution going on in this world. Before President Trump and the Christmas Day ISIS strike in Nigeria, I don't know of another president of the United States that has taken any action against these Christian killers before. Do you? When has a president stood up and said no more Christians are going to be killed or kidnapped or taken prisoner, which is, I guess, kidnapping? I don't know of another president doing this. I'm so proud of him for doing what no other president has had the guts to do. The United States is a Christian country. Yeah, Christian Judeo, but primarily Christian. And this persecution of Christians around the world, the liberals think it's justified, you understand? And in this country right now, over this Christmas season, there's terrible things going on. Terrible things going on. 2026 is a turning point year in this country. The midterm elections have to be won, and we can win if we have a massive turnout. The country is behind us. The country is behind Trump. The things that Trump is doing, Americans overwhelmingly support. He still has 87% support among Republican voters in this country. Still, being in the office almost a whole year. He's doing things so outside the box and amazing. On top of the economy booming. And the only thing that can cause us to lose the midterms is a low voter turnout. That's it. So this is the year of MAGA. 2026 is the year of MAGA. And we are all, if you're MAGA, we are all activists for MAGA and Trump. Not only do you have to turn out and vote, you have to make sure that your family and your friends do the same thing too. Remember what the president said during the last election. We've got to swamp them at the polls. And in 2026, you're going to hear me every day talking about this. The year of get out the vote for MAGA. Don't listen to these people who say, oh, well, you know, historically, the party in power loses. President Trump is not an ordinary man, and he's not an ordinary president. The very fact that he is in office again for a second and non-consecutive term is a miracle in itself. Okay? These never-Trumpers and Democrats shot him. They tried to kill him multiple times in the last 4 years. How many times did they arrest him? I've lost track. Twice in New York, Fulton County, Miami. You know, they arrested him time and time again, got a mugshot, brought him in civil court with ridiculous charges on ridiculous things, broke into his home, went through his wife's underwear. I mean, these are terrible. And then they tried to kill him and shot him. And he's back in the White House. If President Trump can do that, we can win the midterms. It's happened before, it can happen again. And it all depends on you getting out the vote and stop this like Jesse Waters. Wow, we're going to lose the midterms. Well, talking like that, Jesse Waters, yeah. Idiotic thing to say. And I'm here to tell you, we can win. Now, I can't predict a victory because so many other conservatives who are afraid to be wrong are taking this fence. Oh, well, you know, we're going to lose. No, not me. You're not going to hear that from me. We only lose if we have a low turnout. If we do what Susie Wiles said in an interview about 2 weeks ago, that the president is going to treat the midterms like a presidential election year. He's going to campaign like a presidential election year. You've got to show up and vote. You've got to make sure your friends and family do the same and your coworkers, and we will win, and we will win big. No doubt about it. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't still Democrats out there. Who cares? We only have to win by 51%, even less in some instances. Don't worry about the fact that there's still going to be Democrats out there. Yeah, there's always going to be idiots. Don't worry about that. The country pretty much is always going to be almost equally divided with a leaning towards one direction a little bit. That's okay. I'm not trying to convert all the Democrats. I'm trying to get the people that are Republican, the people that support no tax on tips, a $6,000 deduction on Social Security for all Social Security recipients, no tax on overtime, closed borders, stopping the poisonous drugs coming into our country. All this, okay? Just trying to get them out to vote. If we have a large MAGA turnout, a large Republican turnout, we win, and we win bigly. It won't even be close. Not just in the House, not just in the Senate, but the governors, the state legislatures, our county and city commissions too. Yeah, we're not going to win every race around the country. There will still be Democrats, okay? That's not the goal. Don't set up some impossible standard to achieve. And when you hear people say, oh, well, we're going to lose historically, shut that down and correct the record. There's only been one other president that's had a non-consecutive term, and it happened in the 1800s. No one has done what this man has done. Right? Do you think President Trump goes around thinking like a loser? Hell no, he doesn't. Do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? Oh man, it's god-awful. You may have neuropathy and don't even know it. These are some of the symptoms. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, maybe no feeling at all. Call Lighthouse Medical. They have a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment that lasts. Steve Kane had his neuropathy treatment 3.5 years ago, and his neuropathy symptoms have not returned. It works. Lighthouse Medical can help you no matter where you're located in the world. Give them a call, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. Mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, and you get that no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back after this. All right, we got about 20 seconds and we'll be back on the radio. I'm still under the weather, guys, so you got to bear with me. The Dayquil helps a lot, but not totally. There we go. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. We are back live the day after Christmas. Hope you all had a great Christmas. I know I did. I told my wife, I think that this was our best Christmas we've had in maybe ever. I did. This was just a great Christmas for my family. All right, so I was telling you guys, this is the year of MAGA 2026, right? The year of MAGA. Getting the vote out, it is so, so important. There's a major takeover attempt in this country that's been very, very successful. I'm going to share something with you. This is insane. The Somali takeover of huge parts of our country, mainly in the Midwest, is so out of control. We've seen what's going on in Somalia. I got a call yesterday on the Christmas morning show from a guy from my hometown, Columbus, Ohio. And he told me that the Somali community's taken over Columbus, Ohio. And the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, who's running for U.S. Senate in Minnesota, put on a hijab, surrounded herself with Somalians, and made a statement, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment. And there's all this talk that there's you've heard of fake news, right? Of course. But there's a new thing going on right now, fake history. And what the liberals are doing now are telling us the great role that Somalians have played in the building of our great country, the United States, which is absurd. Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire, he did an incredible piece recently on Somalians. Do you know how many Somalian, and he did some great research on this, Michael Knowles. Do you know how many Somalians were in the United States in 1990? I graduated high school in 1989, so I was 19 years old in 1990. Think about it. Just take a guess. I'm not going to troll for calls. I'm going to tell you in a moment. How many Somalians were in the United States in 1990? How many do you think? 2,100. 2,100. In 1990. Now, 92, 93, there was a massive move here during Bill Clinton's time, but 2,100, that's it, in 1990. Somalians have played no positive role in anything in this country. The only thing the Somalians have brought us is negativity. There's nothing positive from the community. 2,100 in 1990. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. It's crazy. And the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, I'm going to play this audio for you. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can see it. She put on a hijab. She's surrounded by Somalians. Okay, so she started, I guess she's speaking Somalian. Salam alaikumla. What? Now, I want to tell you guys, she's wearing a hijab, and she's whiter than me, because I'm a white guy, but I live in Florida, the Sunshine State, so I get a little sun just walking to the car, okay? And I haven't shaved in a couple days, so she's whiter than me, and she's wearing a hijab, speaking this. Is that Somalian or some? What is she speaking there? That's her Muslim friend next to her wearing a hijab. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Sali Kala Kum, whatever the heck that means. I don't know. Do we got to dump that mic? I don't even know what that means. And then we have, let me pull this up. I know that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Then we have, I know Mike Lindell's running for governor of Minnesota. We got to support Mike Lindell. Then we have Mayor Wu. I got a soundbite of Mayor Wu somewhere. Let me see if I can find it because I want to play it for you guys. If not, I'll just tell you and pull it up later. Let me play this one first because I got this one queued up. This is Congresswoman Jayapal. Okay, listen to this. What have Somalians done that you would consider part of building of this country? I don't understand that. And here's Mayor Wu, the mayor, the racist mayor. Remember, she had that, even though she's married to a white guy, she had a party a couple of Christmases ago for politicians. No white politicians were allowed to go. It was racially segregated. This is Mayor Wu, the mayor of Boston. Oh my goodness. Okay, now this is, I mean, you know, you're seeing the rewriting of American history, right? Jayapal, who says, oh, the Somali contributions to building this country. There were only 2,100 of them here in 1990. What contribution did they, the country was built long before that. Mayor Wu's talking about how Boston, you can't say anything positive about Boston without the Somalians. Are you kidding me? You know, and this is very dangerous stuff. This is what the communists do. This is a major takeover of this country that's going on. Before I share that, I want to play this one more. This is a police officer in Minnesota. He's speaking Somalian. He says, as I have the translation here, he says, as Somalian police officers, we work for you, Somalians. Keep in mind, he's a police officer in Minnesota. Day and night we stand for you and serve you. He said, as you know, we came to this country as refugees. He says, now that we've been hired, it means we're working for our own people, Somalians. He says, that's why we're different from foreigners or white officers. He's calling American police officers, not just white ones, but all American police officers, foreigners. So we have a police officer in Minnesota referring to American police officers as foreigners, not just the white ones, he says. He says, whether you're in the homeland or abroad, Somalian police officers work for you. Okay, there you go. I mean, the only word I can understand is I heard him say, I guess Somalia is Somalia in Somalian or whatever language he's speaking. Don't you see what's going on here? This country is being colonized and conquered in a way that a country has never been conquered before. And I know liberals will say, so what? This country was founded by colonizers. Well, that was a long time ago. We have our own country now. And I'm not sure if you've seen this, but in Lawrence, Massachusetts, did you see the mayor? The mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts is in some type of court case. Let me pull this up. Now, he's not speaking Somalian. He needs a translator. He's originally from the Dominican Republic. He's a mayor here in Massachusetts, Lawrence, Massachusetts. He only speaks Spanish. Listen. This is a lawyer in a deposition talking to the mayor. You haven't, and you hear the mayor's translator. I mean, you see what's going on here. They're wiping this country out. And if we don't win the midterms, these foreign-speaking people that are calling American police officers foreign police officers, you've got police officers in Minnesota calling American police officers foreigners. What's going on here? We're being colonized. They're wiping out this country. And if we lose the midterms, if we don't have a big turnout and the Democrats win, you're handing the country over to these people. All right, I want to hear your thoughts on all this. We are live this Friday after Christmas. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It is Open MAGA Mic Friday, open phones every Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind, but I hope to hear your thoughts on the things I've been sharing. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're still in a radio station break. We'll be back in about less than 90 seconds. Okay, just let me rest my head. I tell you, this cold has been kicking my butt. I've had it about a week. I'm feeling better, but I'm still. You know what? The main thing that's bothering me is the drip from the cold. Is the main thing that's bothering me, especially because I talk for a living. So it's making it difficult. But if you did not catch yesterday's Christmas Day show, watch that when this show's over. It was a great show with great calls and conversations. And I thought when I did a Christmas morning show, I'd do maybe 50 minutes or an hour, and it was a 4-hour program. I was not planning on that at all. We got about 40 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right, stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug. What's up?
This is annoying, man. It's so annoying to me. Besides that, there's other stuff, but I never thought I heard a policeman talking in another language. The Spanish wanted to make Spanish a second language. They said, no, only English. But yet, you get this guy talking Somalian. Man, that's so annoying to find out that the country
Spanish isn't the same. Here we are in Florida. Florida once belonged to Spain, and we've had but the Spanish police, they speak English, and they don't go around calling American-born police officers foreigners like this Somalian guy did.
Yeah, man, it's really sickening to hear that the country has deteriorated that much in certain areas. Man, I don't hear anything also being said that by the major news that Georgia now finally admits that the election was rigged, and you don't hear anything about that. Why? So because the liberals just love what they're doing, they want to wreck this country and get away with it.
Liberals believe that they represent the people, and because they represent the people, they feel entitled to do whatever it is they do for the greater good.
But wait a minute. It's the greater good to have a Somalian policeman talking Somalian? Man, I don't care. What kind of idiotic thing is that? This is insane.
Well, and the lieutenant governor is walking around in a hijab. She's not Muslim even.
Yeah. Yeah, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
At least I don't think she's Muslim.
If they would have made a movie about this 15, 20 years ago, I'd say, get out of here. Nobody's going to allow that.
They did. They did, kind of. There was with John Travolta, White Man's Burden with John Travolta.
I don't think I ever saw that. No.
Yeah.
Never saw that.
It's a movie, White Man's Burden with John Travolta. It's not Travolta's best, okay? But it takes place it's an alt history movie where white people are the minority. White Man's Burden with John Travolta. Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's not his best.
Maybe
movie,
they made a movie. But then, like I said, if I would have seen that movie, I would have said, that's not going to happen. There's too many white people.
All right. Anyway, take care. Take care. Appreciate the call, Doug. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem. I just had to give your white power a little wake-up call. It's kind of interesting to hear you racists going to exasperations talking about your replacement theory. But it's going to happen. I think you should know that.
So it's not a theory, it's a fact. You're declaring great replacement as a fact, not a theory, because you said it's going to happen. So you agree that it's you're saying it's a fact.
What would you say if people were not going to ask you for reparations, they just take it?
Why should you get reparations? For what?
because we've been in this country for 400 years with free labor.
You're
And you
400
always-
years old? You work for free?
Are you that stupid?
You work for free. And you're 400 years old. Yeah, you said we've been here for 400 years in free labor. You're 400 years old and you work for, what are you, an immortal? What are you, a Highlander?
Family lineage. Nope.
Renee
Family
McLeod?
lineage. You speak English?
Well, first of all, the very idea that, you know, not that you have much credibility, okay, Renee, with the audience, but to make the claim that you work for free and are 400 years old is a stretch.
Well, who believes anything you say? And who cares?
You're
You're
400 years old and you work for free. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's what you heard? That's what you heard?
You said
You're
we've
that
been
stupid?
here. You said we've been here for 400 years with free labor.
My people have been here for 400 years. How stupid are you?
Who are your people?
Man, look. Who are your people is the real question.
The American people.
But you think you're a Native American, right?
I was born in the United States. I'm a Native American, yes, just like you.
Native. And how long has that been since the settlers got to your part of the woods?
What?
Huh?
I don't understand the question.
Colonizers.
My ancestors came to America in the 1600s, to the best of my knowledge.
Right. And there were no white people in that area before that,
No,
right?
they weren't the original colonists. They weren't. I'm not a Mayflower descendant. I'm not a Jamestown descendant. They were just,
You are a settler, a colonizer. One settler, one bullet. That's my theory.
Okay. Come on. Stop quoting Obama. That was an Obama quote, if you remember. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Pete from Oakland Park.
Hey, Pete.
Well, I just wanted to ask you one question. And I watch you every morning, and I watch everything that's going on with all these Somalians and all the Palestinians over here. And yeah, I think don't they have a Palestinian police force up in New Jersey or something? And you know, Hispanics out in California forming their own little communities that are anti-American in my eyes. I mean, what I'm seeing, maybe I'm incapable of comprehension here, but one question I wanted to ask you: what solution do you think these people are going to leave us in the long run? And
I don't understand your question. I don't understand what you're asking.
I mean, they just keep on getting stronger and stronger. And every day on your show, I see a new city that's, you know.
The reason you're talking about the Somalians.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The reason, okay, why do you think the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, who's running for U.S. Senate, I understand, put on a hijab like I played? Why do you think she did that?
Well, she's doing it to get the Somalian vote, of course.
Well, and campaign donations. Somalians have massive amounts of money to donate to campaigns because they've stolen $9 billion from the Medicaid system in Minnesota alone.
I know that. Yeah.
So they have deep pockets.
Right behind all that.
So they're buying off politicians. So what can be done about it? The Treasury Secretary and Dr. Oz from Health and Human Services and others, they're going to be there's massive arrests and investigations going on against the Somalian fraudsters. So that's something that's being done about it right now. Their power is because Democrats want their campaign donations and their votes. But,
well,
yeah.
Me and my wife both pray that that's what's going to happen. We hope it don't turn
It's
into
happening
something
now.
else. But yeah, and that's the reason we voted President Trump in, and he's doing what we voted him in to do, and you know, but you get. You know, my great-great-grandfather, he fought as a first lieutenant in the Union Army in the Battle of Chickamauga and the Battle of Chattanooga.
Fought to free the slaves. He fought to free the slaves.
Yes, he fought to free the slaves. And then my father, he fought in World War II in the Philippines against the Japanese and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was in during Nam, and you know, I just feel like they spit on us when they talk like they. I've seen that lady talking there a while ago. You know, what about standing up
Well,
for
because
the American
you know, like
people?
look at what Trump's done. Okay, another thing he's done. They've done away with the Visa lottery, and now you got to get the Trump golden card. You know, that cost, I don't remember, a lot of money. You know, they were bringing in unlimited weight. This is all Obama. Obama's 8 years.
Oh yes,
you know,
I know.
Because I was telling you that
I call him by his real name.
I learned about this from Michael Knowles. In 1990, there were only 2,100 Somalians in the entire United States. And then Bill Clinton Bill Clinton and Obama brought in, I don't even know how many millions of Somalians, and for this very purpose, Trump has shut that off. The visa lottery's done.
Well,
you know, and he shut down our borders. So, and the deportations are up, and they're going to amp them up next year. So, everything is being done that can possibly be done. But listen, I'm coming up on the top of the hour, so I got to run. But
okay. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, from Oakland Park. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. It is the Friday after Christmas. We're here live. My name is Brian Craig. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones. You can call in about anything and everything on your mind on today's show. The show prep is up to you all every Friday. The number is 888-465-2631. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, back right after our top of the hour break. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, if you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. Okay, we'll be back in just, let me check the time. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We're still in our top of the hour break on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. Give me a yes or no. If we get the vote turnout, we're going to win the midterms, right? The only way we lose is if we don't have a big voter turnout, right? Winning is 100% doable if we get the turnout. You guys agree with that? I mean, you know. Yeah. You know, and I'm going to be pushing that hard. Now, I knew Trump was going to win. There's too many conservative voices out there that are predicting a loss. A bunch of losers. Get out the vote. Get out the vote. Just over a minute, and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, man, I hope I kick this. I hope I kick this cold today. I'm so sick of being sick. The main thing is the drip. That's what's killing me. We got about 30 seconds to go. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. The Dayquil helps a lot. I always have Dayquil around. I've been using that for years. Theraflu is better, but I hate the taste of Theraflu. It's hard for me to get it down. All right, 10 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark. What's up?
You know, I was watching that female mayor talking.
Are you talking?
She doesn't know much of.
Oh, Mayor Wu of Boston.
She doesn't know much about the history of the immigrants because they came from Europe and they built New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched many videos of those men hacking in buckets and they're building those skyscrapers. So,
well, you know, the thing about Mayor Wu of Boston, when she says that the Somalians built Boston, Boston is the most American city of all because the American Revolution began by activists in Boston, right? Sam Adams, John Adams, the Sons of Liberty. All of that came out of Ben Franklin. It all came out of Boston. If it was not for the founding fathers of Boston, this great country would never have existed. And
really,
and she's rewriting history by telling us the Somalians have built Boston. That's crazy town.
And you can educate me, but did President Trump's father build skyscrapers?
Now, he worked, no. President Trump's father was in Queens. Remember, President Trump took the Trump Organization from Queens to New York City. And his dad, Fred, didn't want to do that.
But, you know, people don't think about that. The European immigrants came to America to be Americans.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. All right,
anyway,
Montana Mark, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rick.
Yes, Rick.
How come you never mentioned that Donald Trump was convicted of sexually assaulting a female?
Oh.
You want?
Oh, I'm glad you called. No. I'm glad you called because I liked. You know, we talk about news. You're telling me that President Trump excuse me. I'm asking the question. I'm trying to get some information because you have information I don't have. There was a criminal conviction of President Trump. Hold on, let me answer these lines because this is amazing. There was a criminal conviction that President Trump has of assaulting a woman. Tell me about that.
Yes.
A criminal conviction.
Through the Freedom of Information Act, the whole public can find out.
Can you give me a name? Give me the name of this woman in the conviction. I'll look it up right now.
Look up who she got sexually.
No. I'm asking you. You're telling me President Trump has you said that he has a criminal conviction for sexually assaulting a woman. Can you tell me the name of the woman so I can look up the case? I'll read it on the air right now.
I can't think of her name.
You can't think of the name. Well, when you got the name, call me back, stupid. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. He can't think of the name. Because the name doesn't exist, dum-dum. But thanks for your call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Joey from Waynesboro, Virginia.
All right. Joey in Virginia, what's on your mind?
So the Republican Party is typically, or at least labels themselves as a Christian party. Is MAGA a part of that too?
Okay. Okay, yeah.
So what about the 30 passages in the Bible about taking care of migrants and refugees, or the several passages in the Bible about taking care of the poor and sick?
Oh, okay. So this Christian standard. Now, you're calling me from a car. Are you on the way to work?
I just got done taking out the Christmas trash.
Okay, but you're in your car now, right?
Yeah.
How many migrants? How many migrants live at your house?
There's no migrants.
Well, wait a minute. You have this standard that we're all supposed to help migrants. Why are you not letting them stay in your house? I mean, you don't use your couch at night while you're sleeping. Do you have migrants who sleep on your couch at night?
If one needed to and asked
Well,
me
you're
to,
telling me.
obviously,
Oh,
as
so
long as
okay.
I thought they were safe.
Okay, so there's no migrants that need help then in the country.
I never said that there weren't, but if you're going to sit there and claim to be a Christian party...
All right, no, we're
and
not a
turn
Christian
around
party.
and
No, excuse
harass
me.
and
We're not a
deport-
Christian party. The Republican Party, the MAGA movement, is not a Christian organization or movement. It's an American movement. But are you a Christian?
So why do they tout Christian faith as part of their movement?
Most Americans are Christian. Okay, are you a Christian?
Yes.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I was brought up Christian.
You're brought up Christian. Okay. So you don't have any migrants at your house now, but you said there's 30 passages in the Bible telling us to take care of these migrants. Over the years, how many illegals have been in your home, eating your food, using your toilet, sleeping in your bed? I mean, do you take these refugees in regularly?
I did when I was younger, and I worked with them. I worked with guys that were from Guatemala, Honduras.
So you let
Mexico.
illegals. So you let illegals.
Many of them.
So you let illegals stay in your home for free, and you take care of.
Let them sit around and drink beer with me after work, even.
No. I'm not talking about sitting around with pals after work. You told me you didn't have any migrants in your house. Now you're telling me that you do.
Not as now.
Well,
when
why
I was
not
younger
now?
And I was working marine
You're calling me from
construction
Virginia.
because I don't live in an area where there's any of them around.
You're calling me from Virginia. What's the temperature right now? I'm in Florida. It's freezing outside.
It is 37 degrees.
Oh my
outside.
goodness. It's freezing outside. And you're telling me that you're not allowing these homeless migrants to come in your home and be warm? What kind of Christian are you?
There's no homeless migrants in my area.
There's no illegals in the state of Virginia. Are you kidding me? Get off the phone, you hypocritic loser. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The woman he sexually assaulted, his name is Jean Carroll. I just wanted to let you know that.
No, there's not a criminal conviction involving President Trump and E. Jean Carroll. That was a civil case.
Liable.
That's a civil case. That's not a criminal conviction. You told me there was a criminal libel is a civil court. Now you said there was a criminal conviction. And you didn't even know that about that when you called in. You had to Google it and call back in. It's one call per day, all right? Call me another day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? My goodness.
Good morning, Doc from Texas. How are you this morning, bro?
All right, Texas.
Hey, look, I know this may not concern in your topic you're talking about, but I was just looking at TV this morning, and they was talking about, like, the truck drivers that are here and they don't speak English and they have CDLs.
Yeah.
Hey, they should go after those drivers, they should go after them, but they should go after drivers that are Americans, because there's a lot of drivers out there that really are Americans and they should be on the road neither. So we should go after all of them that are really doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing on the road.
That's what the state troopers do. They do.
No, they don't. Sometimes they don't,
Oh,
Brian.
so American truck drivers are getting away with what that you don't think is being enforced?
I don't think like certain things like they're certain things they're like some things they're not supposed to be in certain lanes. They're in these lanes, and they really are just doing some crazy things. Not all of them. Certain ones.
If a state trooper sees them committing a violation on the road, they pull them over.
Yep.
Are you under the impression? Are you under the impression that Americans who drive semi trucks can drive in 2 lanes and speed and commit violations with total impunity? What's the matter? Okay. What is wrong with you? Are you hungover from the eggnog yesterday?
No, I don't drink, Brian. Well, so what do you? You
don't think
what are you
too much
talking?
either.
Yeah, I do, Brian. So what I'm saying is, even just because what I'm saying is they should go after all truck drivers that are doing wrong.
They do.
Not just the legal.
They do.
No, sometimes I think they don't.
Well, you would be wrong.
They're just like sometimes it's like you see them like sometime in the morning. I always say that load is not worth your life. And sometimes like they be speeding.
The only load we got here is the crap that's coming out of your mouth, and it's a big old load of it.
So really, Brian?
What you're saying is so incoherent.
So what do you mean?
Truck drivers who commit traffic violations, every time you commit a traffic violation, you don't get caught. Every time you make a rolling stop at a stop sign, you don't get caught.
I understand that.
So, so if a state trooper, which they deal mostly with the truck drivers because the truck drivers are on the highways throughout our country. If a police officer sees a truck driver committing a traffic violation, they pull him over like they pull you or me over.
Mm-hmm. But I think, to me, they're too much focused around. They need to focus on all the drivers.
They do.
Not just the illegal drivers.
The illegal.
I don't think they do,
This
Brian.
is what you got.
I don't think they do.
This is what you don't understand. Prior to President Trump and Transportation Secretary Duffy making an issue of illegals having driver's licenses, which is illegal, and having to have the ability to read and speak English to be a CDL driver, this was a law that wasn't enforced. Do you know that it's required of all airline pilots worldwide to speak English? Did you know that?
They should.
But if you are an airline pilot for a Muslim or Chinese airline, you have to speak and read English. Did you know that?
Yep.
Okay, why is that?
Because you should know, because when you come to the United States, you should be able to speak English.
English is the international language of the airwaves. In the towers of the world, they speak English. If you were landing a plane in Russia, they'd speak English. In Beijing, in Tokyo, Qatar, they speak English, right? And it's a safety thing. So everybody's speaking the same language. Well, same goes for the truck drivers in this country. I agree with you. Every state has different laws and different signs and different things, and it's a requirement. And it's a requirement that has not been enforced for a long time.
Okay. Yeah. And it should be enforced, Brian. That's what I'm saying.
So you agree with President Trump and Sean Duffy, the Transportation Secretary?
I agree.
We need to take these illegals off the road.
I don't agree with nothing Trump says, but I agree.
You don't agree with nothing that Trump says. Oh my goodness. All right. Appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. You making a New Year's resolution to lose weight? You probably made it many times, right? Well, make that resolution come true this year. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You guys have seen all the weight I've lost. I got together with family this Christmas and some people I haven't seen in a while, and like, wow, Brian, you lost a lot of weight. Yeah, Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I told them how much, and they're like, what? Wow, you look great. You were much rounder last Christmas. I know, but not anymore. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. No matter where you're located in the United States, they can help you. I'm going to give you the number, okay? Whether you want to lose 25, 40, 50 pounds, 250 pounds, even more, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. Give them a call, and there's no drugs, no injections. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break and be back with your calls after this. That caller was incoherent, wasn't he? Was he incoherent to you guys? Our Texas caller? He was out of his freaking mind. What point was he trying to make? He did not sound sober to me. He did not sound sober. Not at all. I've been taking calls. I will. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. I've been taking calls all morning. 2 hours. I got an hour and 40 minutes to go. We'll be back in about 1 minute. All right, we'll be back in less than a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We got about 30 seconds. Oh, boy. This morning's been flying by. Welcome back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Brian. You're on the air. What's your name?
You're on the air.
Hello, Brian. This is Norman.
Yes,
I'm
Norman.
calling from Muncie, Indiana.
Norman, turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me in the background, if you don't mind. There's a delay. There you go.
Okay, is that better?
That's better. What's on your mind, Norman from Indiana?
Okay, I wanted to address a couple things. First, the guy that called in about the sexual assault allegations. There were no convictions, first off, and that was E. Jean Carroll who was talking about. We all got that. E. Jean Carroll had accused 25 plus other men of sexual assault. So let's look at her past.
Hold on. I'm going to let you say what you want to say, but hold on a second. You don't think I knew that?
I'm sure you did.
What was the point when he first called in? What do you think the point I was making was with the caller?
We were discussing. You were discussing the truck driving when I first called in.
Oh no! I'll tell you. He called in and he said Trump had been convicted of sexual assault, and I asked him, "Could you tell me the name of the woman so I can look it up? I'll read the story on there." What do you think the point I was making was there?
Well, he's an uninformed idiot.
All he has is a talking point. He didn't know what he was talking about. And then we went back and forth. I let him go. He Googled, found E. Jean Carroll. He still didn't know that was a civil case. And he didn't, liberals have nothing but talking points. And the reason they bring them up is they want us to sit around and talk about E. Jean Carroll or Epstein or this or that. They're trying to get us to talk about these things that everybody with half a brain knows about already. But anyway, go ahead. What else is on your mind?
Okay, well, I really called to address the point of the lady, the truck driver.
That was a man. That was a man. That was a man, not a lady from Texas.
That was a man?
That was a man.
I'm sorry for him.
Yes.
I work in logistics every day. I'm a receiving clerk. I work in a pretty popular production factory. I deal with truck drivers every day, day in and day out. And I can tell you, for the past 4 years, and this has happened, I've tracked it over the past 4 years, I noticed the increase. I rarely speak to an English-speaking driver. Mm-hmm. And when I say rarely, I'm not exaggerating at all. When I say rarely, of all the drivers that I see every day, sometimes 60-something plus drivers a day, maybe 10 or 12 will be English-speaking.
Well, they're on the road illegally.
Most of my day,
those are illegal drivers.
Exactly. That's what that's the point I was trying to get across to that gentleman, is that, I don't have, it's not my duty to understand what they're saying as truck drivers in my country. It's their obligation to learn my language and to understand how, our alphabet works and how our language works, and how they need to conduct themselves.
Well, there's another thing too. When you're talking about CD, it's beyond language, okay? When you're an American and you get to the age of when you can first drive a car, you have experience, even though you've never been behind the wheel, because you've been a passenger. And the Democrats have been giving driver's licenses, not just CDLs, but regular driver's licenses to foreigners. And here in Florida, I go to Miami. Okay, I was in Miami last week. You go to Miami or other areas that have a lot of illegals they've given driver's licenses to, they don't know the etiquette, the road etiquette, and the rules of the road in this country. And they're very dangerous.
Exactly.
And I give you an example. I told this on the air a couple weeks ago. I was pulling out of a gas station, and there were cars coming on my left, and this car behind me was honking their horn to go. I couldn't go because there were cars coming. I had to cross 4 lanes of traffic. They were honking and honking and honking. There were cars coming. Then they backed up, floored it, and cut me off and drove in front of these cars across the road. And as that happened, I'm like, what an idiot. And I saw they had a Haitian flag bumper sticker in their back window. They're a Haitian, probably illegal, but they're a Haitian that was given a driver's license, and they don't know the etiquette on how to cross, because they didn't have cars or driver's licenses in Haiti. They don't know the rules of the road, so they're driving like maniacs. And you put somebody behind a big truck, whether it's a box truck or an 18-wheeler that requires a special training with a CDL, and you just give them the license, you're giving them a weapon without any experience or training.
Absolutely. A 2,200-pound Prius with a moron behind the wheel is a dangerous weapon.
That's self-driving.
Yes. Well, I admit, Brian, I really didn't. I just wanted to kind of touch in on that point, man. And I wanted to say that I really appreciate your show and everything you do, man. You're in my prayers constantly, man.
Thank you.
We're going to come out on top, man.
Well,
we're going to come out on top. America is going to be fine.
Let me
We're
tell
healing.
you. Let me tell you something.
We just need more men like you, man.
Prayers work. I pray all the time, and I'm here to tell you that my prayers come true all the time. All the time.
Absolutely, man. I come from a praying family, man. I'm a survivor of a murder. I was murdered by a crackhead in a truck.
Murdered? You were not murdered. You're talking to me. You're alive. If you were murdered, you'd be dead.
No, I was murdered and resuscitated. I was 5 minutes under.
Get out of town.
That's
What
what
happened?
I call myself. I'm a survivor.
What happened?
I'm sorry?
You were legally dead?
Hey, man.
You were clinically dead?
Yeah, I was legally dead. Yeah.
What happened?
I made it all the way across the county.
What happened?
I was at my birthday. I was having there was a birthday party thrown in my honor. And I'm kind of a pacifist. I don't like violence. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
There's an argument started between this little crowd that wasn't supposed to be in. It was at an American Legion. And he was a regular, so the bartender just kind of let him and his brother and a couple of girls, they started an argument. So I just stepped outside. I'm like, screw this. I know it's my party. I'm leaving. I'm not getting involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
So they run him out, and he runs and gets his truck. And I guess he thought I was one of the people that was throwing him out, but he ran across. Before I could get out of the way, he launched me across the lot. I had dislocated my skull from my spinal column.
Oh, my goodness.
Or my vertebrae.
Holy smokes.
It broke my jaw, knocked out 75% of my teeth. It was horrible. I mean, it stopped my heart. And
wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. It was nothing but family. You know, I'm a survivor of a double widowmaker. 4 years prior to that, I just had doing too much.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. In this incident, and I got out of all the calls I've gotten, you're the first call I've gotten calls from all kinds of people and backgrounds over the years. I've never talked to a man who had been murdered before. Let me ask you. You know, I had I was not murdered, but I was close to being killed many years ago by a listener to this program that stalked me and attacked me. And this happened many, many years ago. And
that's why I pray for you.
And I talked to, this was many years ago, okay, over 20 years ago. But I when I talk to people about it, sometimes they'll say to me, well, what did it feel like, you know? And I was at this point where I was ready to go. I'm like, Jesus, I'm coming. And people ask me what it was like, and I describe it as totally peaceful. I was not bothered. I was I was awake. I could see it, and I felt it, and I was totally at peace, which is very strange. What was your experience? That this death experience you had, was it? Were you coherent enough to have any memory?
It was. I don't remember much about like what happened coming up to it. I remember the arguing, and it spilled outside, and he ran to his truck, and then I just remember the truck coming around the corner, and I remember screams. The next thing I remember, I think I remember a flash of being pulled out of the ambulance into the hospital, the emergency department.
Mm-hmm.
But the next vivid memory I have, and it's like you were saying, I was at peace.
At peace.
I was completely peaceful. I was calm, you know, but I was in a wild situation because I was completely naked, standing in the hallway outside of the room. Somehow they said I had gotten out of my restraints, that they finally resuscitated me, and I was panicking.
Listen, I got to run because I'm very late for the break. But I just want to say that, you know, I've heard other people tell stories like yours and mine, and we were both victims of severe violence. Okay, because mine was pretty violent.
Yeah.
It's been the same. I've heard from many people like your experience and my experience. This feeling of peace. Like nothing. You don't even. Yeah. You're ready. You're like it's
absolute
okay.
calm.
It's calm and peace, and like it's okay. You're not even worried.
Yep.
And
isn't
it something?
Yeah, I was standing there. It was like I was trapped in my head looking out my eyes. It was like I was
Exactly.
standing in a tower looking out.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
it was
very similar.
and it took me-
Yeah, I had a similar
Yeah,
thing with me.
yeah.
We had isn't that something?
Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild sensation.
Well, you know what
man.
that tells
Yeah,
me.
and it wasn't frightening at all.
But you know what that tells me. See, to me, my Christianity isn't faith. I know for a fact, and I know for a fact because of that experience. You know, and
People
and
ask me now, are you a believer? It's like, no, I'm a knower. I know.
Yeah,
I know now.
Yeah, that's why when they say faith, I know for a fact,
Yeah.
and it's because of that experience. And you had a similar experience, and it doesn't mean that I don't wear my seatbelt and I'm a risk taker, but I know, but you don't fear death in the same way.
Exactly. I'm not afraid of growing old, man, and
because
it's not a thing to me.
You know where you're
it's
going.
It's not a thing to me. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But on that note of getting old, just one of the best Christmas present ever was announced to me last night that I'm going to be a grandfather.
Oh, congratulations! Maybe I'll get that
right
one
in the week of my birthday.
That's awesome. Congratulations. All right, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Interesting. Oh, man. Okay, we've got about a minute and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Yeah, someone said they looked down. I felt that, like I was looking down at myself. Yeah, I remember it while it was happening. It just totally at peace. Yeah. You get like a little tunnel vision, and then I like looking down. It's just like that. Crazy. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. Oh, we're back. I lost track of time, Mike. Day after Christmas, I'm dog. Al Knight, our weekend guy, and I were texting during the break. I lost track of time. All right. You guys listen to Al Knight on the weekends on True Oldies? You should. We were just texting about some radio memories. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Doug. I'm from Moonshine Capital of the World.
Where's that?
It's Virginia.
Okay, that's good. I've had moonshine a couple times. It's pretty good.
You got to be careful where you get it from, though. If it's unregulated.
The last time I got moonshine, it was flavored moonshine, and it was from a doctor.
Okay.
And it was very good.
Yeah. I'm not calling in to debate or anything. I'm happy you're not a grifter.
What does that mean?
Grifting?
Oh, I know what a grifter is, but when you say you're happy,
these podcast guys are doing what? Excuse me?
Yeah, I know what a grifter is, but what about me has relieved you that I'm not a grifter?
You're not trying to manipulate words of speech and stuff like that for your own personal gain.
What do you think I'm doing?
You're letting people call you and talk to you. You're not overwhelming them with a bunch of false talking points.
Well, you're listening to the wrong programs. You must be listening to Democrats, liberals.
Oh, they're all over the place, man. You go out there and look. What is his name? Parker, get a job?
No, I don't know who that is.
All he is a scam. He's a tabloid.
I don't know who that is.
Or there's Dean Withers.
I don't know who that is
Another
either.
tabloid.
Enough of the free promotions for people.
I'm not promoting them. I shouldn't. I wish I would name drop them. You're right. I shouldn't have name dropped. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. Appreciate the call. What a dope. He called in. He's probably one of those two guys. Oh my goodness, these people. He's the grifter. Oh my goodness. I tell you, will they ever learn? If you're on hold, stand by. There's a new trend that these evildoers on the left are trying to do. And this one here is not just offensive and in bad taste when they did it, it's gaining steam because of idiot Democrats, okay? There was an ad in Times Square, and this has gone viral, and liberals are promoting this. Merry Christmas, Jesus is Palestinian. No, there was no Palestine then. There were, in the times of Jesus, it was Israel, and there certainly was no Islam. The Prophet Muhammad, I took 2 semesters, the history of Islam. It was parts 1 and 2 in college, 2 whole semesters of it. But I can't remember the year, but the Prophet Muhammad came around in the 700s, if I remember correctly. And they're trying to promote this idea that Jesus is a Palestinian. And I've seen these very offensive images of Jesus wearing that as a blanket in the manger. They have the nativity scene, but Jesus's blanket has that pattern that Arafat's scarf used to have. Yasser Arafat, I don't know what you call that. A lot of Englishmen wear that as fashion now. In London, I see them on TV sometimes. And what's going on here is they're rewriting American history. I was talking about earlier how Mayor Wu of Boston is talking about the great role that We wouldn't have a Boston if it wasn't Somalians, even though there were only 2,100 Somalians in the entire United States in 1990, but the Somalians built Boston. So they're rewriting our history as we speak. The Somalians built Minnesota, we're hearing from the lieutenant governor and her hijab in Minnesota. You know, I've seen Fargo maybe 10 or 15 times. That was in Minnesota. I don't see any Somalians in Fargo. And the Somalians I see don't have that Minnesota accent that William H. Macy had in that movie. Now they're rewriting the Bible, telling us that Jesus was a Palestinian. This is dangerous talk. Don't you see what's happening here? We got fake news, fake history. They're rewriting biblical truths. You know, even people that aren't Christian will tell you. Most Jews I know, while they don't accept Jesus, they believe he lived and they know he was Israeli. You know, but liberals are grabbing onto this Jesus is Palestinian thing. And notice how this is such clever things. They don't say Jesus was Palestinian. They're saying Jesus is Palestinian. Because those of us who are Christians, you know, Jesus was born, died on the cross, and rose again. So we believe Jesus, and we know, as I was telling the last caller, Jesus is alive. So they're saying Jesus is, not was, Palestinian. This is very upper level, hardcore propaganda. I saw a bunch of stories today of Americans that have registered as foreign agents for Qatar. One of them was William Bennett, the famous Ronald Reagan Secretary of Education. I thought he died. Is William Bennett still alive? And there were some other Republicans that are registering as foreign agents for Qatar. Don't you see what's happening here? Our country's under attack and it's being colonized. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Ken. I'm calling from Arizona.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you called me, so I'm assuming you have something to say.
Yeah. I just heard this idea that John the Baptist, this came from Gnostic scripture, but actually what they did was baptism was a drowning. And there were resurrection aids that would bring people back to life on shore. And so it was a near-death experience that those that were baptized.
I don't know what you read. That is not, that would not be true. But okay.
Well, I mean, it kind of brings up an idea, you know, that people can experience a near-death experience and then not be afraid of death. So it does kind of make some sense to me.
Yeah. I don't think it makes sense to anybody else.
Baptism isn't what it used to be, is what I'm saying.
I don't agree with that.
It's a ritual now.
It's not a ritual.
It's a ritual. But
no, depends on where then you go into the wrong church. It's not a.
Well,
it's not a ritual. Not at a real church.
Well, a baptism is to be immersed in the water, okay, putting the old man to death, being brought up a new man.
No,
okay,
you're not. You don't. When Jesus was baptized, correct?
Right.
Where in the Bible does it say that Jesus was drowned and came back from the dead when he was being baptized?
Well, it doesn't have to say so if that's common knowledge.
No. It's not common knowledge.
Talked about.
Are you okay?
I'm just saying.
Where are you calling me from? Indiana?
No, Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, another call. You call me from Arizona. Are you in like the state hospital or something?
No, not at all.
Have you ever been incarcerated in a mental facility?
Are you just a closed-minded individual that
well,
doesn't
that's
question
not a
things?
no. That's not a no. So you have been.
Why
So
do
you
you
have
wanna-
been under psychiatric
why-
care.
No, why do you want to taunt me?
I'm not taunting you. I'm trying to learn more about you. I've
Well,
asked
I'm
you.
saying
I've
get
asked you
behind your
twice.
statement.
I've asked you twice if you've been under psychiatric care, and both times you diverted.
No, I haven't been, and I'm not.
Well, maybe you should.
To me,
be.
that's offensive. Have you been?
Of course
I
not.
mean,
That's
you
not
try to
offensive.
say
No.
I'm insane. Are you
no.
nuts?
No, and I'm not
I thought we were
offended, but
just having a
you sound
conversation.
crazy. You sound nuts.
Why? Why does that sound crazy? Weren't you talking about near-death experience and how that brings you to a better understanding of the Creator?
Lots of things can bring you closer to God.
Exactly.
But you're
You're
talking about
because you
John
had
the
a near-death-
Baptist. You're talking about John the Baptist and Jesus were drowned, and then the acceptance of God, of Jesus, brought people back from the death of being drowned, and that's what traditional baptism is. You sound like a crazy fanatic.
I don't know why. Why was that? Does that sound crazy?
You know, over the years, a lot of people that have called me are insane. It happens almost every day. And one thing I've noticed about people, and I've learned that people that are mentally ill, they usually don't know it. They think that we're the ones that are mentally ill, that sane people are mentally ill, and that they're the ones that are mentally healthy.
Well, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Curious. Okay.
I question.
Well, listen, I gotta run. I've lost total track of time. I want to talk about the Sloman's home security system, free home security system with free professional installation offer, as well as 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for $24.95 a month for 5 years. All you got to do is call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door window sensors, a motion detector, notification, and remote keypad access. So you can check in from any place, anytime. Call right now no matter where you're located. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. I shouldn't have taken that last call before the break. I'm so late now. This is bad. This hour. Okay. Oh my goodness. Welcome everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and like the video, guys, if you don't mind. Did that guy sound crazy to you? Yes or no? Did he sound crazy to you? Yes or no? I want to say yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
All right. We'll be back in 1 minute. We're still in radio break. Yeah, lots of yeses, yeah. Yeah, he's crazy, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, crazy people can call me. If I didn't take calls from crazy people, I'd never hear from liberals. All right, 15 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We are here live the day after Christmas. I took that last break way, way late, okay, when I was talking to that lunatic. So my apologies in advance. This is going to be an incredibly short segment, but in the 8 o'clock hour, it will be on time. So we're kind of bunched up on breaks because I went way over talking to that crazy person. I saw this on X today. It's liberal women sitting around talking about white privilege. Listen to this. Oh, by the way, we got to stay close to the dump button, Mike. We got liberal women here talking, so one of them might slip and say something. But they're sitting around talking about white privilege is a real thing, they say. It's a real thing, white privilege in America. Oh. I'll tell you, these liberal women are out of their freaking minds, aren't they? You know, they just don't. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. And you know what? They never will get it. That what's going on now, affirmative action, I will agree, there was a time in this country where affirmative action had a place, okay? Right after, the Jim Crow ended and we had these racist Democrats. I'm not arguing against affirmative action in its time. But now what we have is what's often referred to as reverse discrimination. And they're not hiring people because they're white or they're a man and things like this. That's not what the civil rights movement was about, and it's not equality. We're in a post-racial society now that they're bringing back this new version of Jim Crow. But in the new version of Jim Crow, they discriminate against white people. That's just what they do. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Barnes from Birmingham, Alabama.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I just love what Trump is doing. He is just crushing it.
Yep, he sure is.
He really is, and they are having a fit.
Yep.
Now, the one thing I am concerned about, that I've got to tell you about, that I have a concern about, maybe you can allay my fears. My concern is, do we have 51 senators ready to go for January 30th? Because these Democrats are hell-bent on doing another shutdown now that they see all
Yeah,
this
they're
stuff
gonna shut
collapsing
down
on
the government again on the 30th of January. That's correct, and hopefully the Republicans will say enough of this crap, and 51 votes is all we need.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we'll do it. I'm hoping we'll break.
Don't worry,
this
Trump
prediction.
always wins. When has Trump not
We'll do
won?
this.
He always wins in the end. Don't worry. Does Trump seem worried?
No.
Then why should you worry? So why should we be worried?
Well, I'm going to trust the process. He's delivered on everything.
I'll tell you
he
what,
said
you know,
he'd
like
do.
a lot of people tell me I was so positive during the presidential election. Why was I so positive? When I saw President Trump the last 15 minutes of his first term in person, okay? When Biden was being inaugurated, and he was smiling ear to ear. And I said then, he doesn't have a worry on his mind, and he knows, and if he's not worried, why am I worried? That's why I was always confident. So if Trump's not worried, you shouldn't be worried, all right? Listen, I got to run for the break. Again, I apologize for the short segment, guys. It's because I went very long talking to that nut job before the last break. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. It's 8 o'clock. Back after this. Oh, my goodness. These liberal women are out of their minds. They're completely out of their minds. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, we'll be back in about 1 minute. If you're on hold, stand by. And if you want to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. I got to save my voice a little bit because I still am sick. You know, so I just got to save my voice a little bit during the breaks, guys. Apologize. Gotta. Oh, man, I have so much more to cover. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. 888-465-2631. All right, we're back. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Happy belated Christmas, brother Brian. IB.
Hey, IB.
I watched the whole show yesterday, but I just didn't get on. You know, the gaslighting is so extreme right now. I mean, I'm talking like literally backed up against the wall, like the St. Valentine's Day massacre. There's no out for the Democrats.
Hold on, IB. Let me answer the lines. My phones are blowing up here. Yeah, okay, go ahead. You're up against the wall like the St. Valentine's Day massacres? People are trying to kill you?
No, this is me talking about the Democrats, how they feel and what's going on in their minds. Their backs are such against the wall right now that the gaslighting we're seeing with the hijab, with this lady, the putting the Palestinian flag on baby Jesus. To me, that's not just blasphemy; it's desecration to put that flag on. You know, because when I was a little kid, having to see that little baby with Mary, Joseph, and I look forward to passing that park when I was a little kid. Christmas time, and to hear you say that Palestine was not even a country, it's not a country, okay? There is no Palestinian Jew. What are these people trying to do, okay? They know that they're losing their voters. They know that they're losing their money. They're actually clawing like to get out of a pit that they've fallen into. And to see it happening live right now, everything Trump is doing is when you get so angry, you see red. You don't know what you're doing. To see a Somali guy, cops, talking in Somali, how long are we going to keep letting this go? We know what they're doing. We've seen what they've done in Germany and France and in England. If we don't vote, if we don't get out there, like Brian says, tell everyone, the only way we can shut them now is the filibuster, the military, and the ballot box. Without that, they're done. They're done. Like I said, we might not see them in power till the 50s or the 60s, as long as they don't find a way to break through the election.
By then, I'll be like 80, 90 years old. So, all right, appreciate the call, IB. Some good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is it me?
It sounds like you.
Okay, hi, it's Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
From Sunrise.
Hey.
I just want to mention something about the Merry Christmas people don't say or do say. I went to school many, many years ago in the 50s. Everybody, whether you were Jewish, whether you were Christian, everybody said Merry Christmas. People say Merry Christmas to me. I'm Jewish. Doesn't matter. I say Merry Christmas back. It's no big deal. I always say it to me. It's fine. It's great. And people make such a big deal about happy holidays, and it has to be, it's just ridiculous.
You know, yesterday morning, on Christmas Day, I went to Starbucks and got my coffee. And I'm still sick, guys, so bear with me. I hope you guys don't catch it through the airwaves. But
I hope not.
I get my Dayquil's running. It's run its course. I need another dose of Dayquil, but I gotta suffer through the break, and then it takes 20 minutes to take effect. But okay. Oh my goodness. Anyway, well, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking? Because I was coughing. What were we talking?
We were talking about Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah. And I said Merry Christmas to the girl at Starbucks, and she didn't say it back. She said, "Have a good day," you know. And I mean, so she was probably Jewish, and with the area and everything else. And some people take it. Some people get offended by it. But I'd say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays back. If somebody said somebody said Happy Hanukkah to me the other day.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get offended. I said Happy Hanukkah. I said, I'm not Jewish, but Happy Hanukkah.
Everybody says Merry Christmas to me, and I say Merry Christmas to them. So I'm going to say it to you, Brian, even though Christmas is past, and you can say it to me, and I thank you very much, and I watch your show every day.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, take care.
Sure.
All right, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I want to talk about this because there's another update today with the ADL. The ADL is going after Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly said something the other day. She said that Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss are creating anti-Semites. Barry Weiss is the new head of CBS. I'm not talking about Barry Weiss here, but I've talked about Ben Shapiro, and I'm going to take this also with Mark Levin. Tim Pool, who's a very well-known online commentator, a few months ago, okay, Tim Pool, he had told a story that the Israeli government had a meeting where they invited him and some other conservative voices, he didn't say who the others were, to a private event and meeting, and Netanyahu was there. And so there's a lot, the Israeli government does do lobbying. By the way, that's not wrong. There's all kinds of lobbying, both foreign and domestic. This is the way it is, okay? But obviously, the Israeli lobby have been strong supporters of Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. And I've said a similar thing, that Ben Shapiro is causing anti-Semitism. And I want to explain this because I think it's very important. And I don't think Megyn Kelly is thinking about it the way I am. And she threw in Barry Weiss for some reason, which is insane. I don't know what her thing is with Barry Weiss. The Israeli lobby made a very bad decision in recruiting Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin as their lead spokespeople in this country for Israel. Mark Levin is involved in some bizarre bickering going on with Matt Gaetz right now that is just ridiculous. I don't want to get sidetracked into that, but maybe I'll talk about it another time. But Ben Shapiro, while I 100% agree with Ben Shapiro when it comes to Israel, I'm a strong supporter of Israel, and I support everything Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro support when it comes to Israel. However, both of these guys are unlikable personalities. And a lot of conservatives don't like them for various reasons, especially Ben Shapiro. And they're bad for the brand of Israel. Does that make sense to you guys? That the Ben Shapiro, what he did at Turning Point was finger point. You're conservative, you're not. He's the decider of who conservatives are. And they have picked a couple of very bad people to be their spokesperson for their cause. And a lot of people, because they don't like Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin is secondary to Ben Shapiro. He's less famous and less influential. But they're both, they've picked two guys that a lot of people, especially Ben Shapiro, aren't liked. I don't think Ben Shapiro has one likable quality about him. I was always a big fan of Mark Levin until he became a never-Trumper, and I feel he's gotten very full of himself lately. But I support Israel, but I don't like Ben Shapiro. And Megyn Kelly, I don't think she comes to this conclusion the way I do, but this is something I've talked about many times over this past year. And I thought, if you're on hold, stand by. And I've thought that a lot of what's going on with Candace Owens, her anti-Israeli position, her dislike of Ben Shapiro, an issue she had at the Daily Wire for Ben Shapiro and maybe other Jews who were at the Daily Wire, she transferred that to hating Israel. And there is a lot of that going on. And if Ben Shapiro was self-aware, and it's very hard for big personalities to admit that people don't like them. I know a lot of people don't like me. I know a lot of people like me, but I know a lot of people don't, and I get it. And most people that don't like me, I know why. Okay? But if having Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin as the spokespeople for Israel is hurting Israel. I know that sounds nuts, but it is. They need better spokespeople. And who they really need are Christians, Christian leaders to be their spokespeople. It's true. Well, here we are. We just passed Christmas, and according to the American Heart Institute, this is the deadliest time of year when it comes to heart attacks. Christmas Day, New Year's Day are the 2 days that have the largest number of heart attack-related deaths than any other days of the year. Life Imaging FLA, they have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. They're all about preventative health. And let me read this review from someone that was left for Life Imaging FLA. Listen to this. They saved my brother's life. He went to Life Imaging FLA for a free heart scan that he heard on the radio. Made the appointment, went, and they did the scan and told him he needed to go to the emergency room now. He decided to drive back to Ocala and go to the ER. 3 days later, they did a quadruple bypass with one almost completely closed off. Saved my 60-year-old brother. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Isn't that something? No symptoms, no idea. And the heart scan at Life Imaging FLA found it. Call for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements. From your cell phone, I need to get a cold scare. My apologies. I told you guys, I'm still sick. I'll take the Dayquil during the break. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in just seconds. Pound 250, say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. We'll be right back. Yep, the Dayquil wore off. Oh my goodness. Oh, man. If you're on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in, it's a great time since I can't talk. And I've got 44 minutes to go. This is going to be fun. Give me a call. 888-465-2631. It'll take a few minutes. I took another dose of Dayquil. I took it about 3 hours ago. So it's a little early, but I need it.
Hello?
Hey, Barry, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey there. We got about 45 seconds. Okay? I'm gonna put you on hold for a bit. I'll be right back. Okay, 18. All right, and we're back, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. The day after Christmas, Attorney Barry Siegel, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, good morning. Well, first of all, I hope everyone had a really nice, meaningful holiday, and here we are. We're getting down the home stretch to 2026. So you know what I'm going to say. It's if you want to make sure that New Year's resolution for 25 occurs, you could still count it if you take some action and get the process started to get your estate planning up to date, or if you don't have an estate plan, getting it done. Had something interesting happen the other day. I was, doing what a lot of guys are doing, the last minute holiday shopping.
Oh, yeah.
And I go into a store and I'm paying for something. And when the lady, when they ask for your phone number, Mr. Siegel. And then she's like, you're Barry Siegel, the attorney? I said, yeah. She's like, I just called your office the other day, and she told me the issues going on with her mom, and she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. You guys were able to help me so much. And actually, we didn't do anything for them yet, other than point them in the right direction. They needed another attorney for some other kind of issue, and another person that deals with seniors for an issue regarding her mom. So it was just very, very funny that turned out to be the salesperson I was dealing with. Had already called my office, and I was very glad. Actually, she just wrote us a 5-star review as well. So
that's amazing.
We're very happy about that.
You're becoming the you're becoming the most famous lawyer in South Florida since the light on in David Singer's office. Remember those days?
I remember, the lights on in David Singer's office, yeah.
I run into him sometimes, and he tells me people still say that to him all these years later.
Well, yeah. I've run into him a few times too.
He's a nice guy.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Barry. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
anyway, So for those of you who haven't done anything this year, make sure you take some action, get it done. Or if not, if you're not ready to call in the next few days, make sure you add that to your New Year's resolution for 26. Let's get it done. Let's take care of your family. Let's take care of yourself. Let's get that peace of mind and make sure that you have a plan that's going to work for you and your family when you need it. That's what we do.
And this
at the Siegel Law.
This story you told, Barry, that's what I tell you all the time. When I meet clients of yours, they're excited and relieved. This sense of relief, it's like a weight off their shoulders. It's universal with everyone I've talked to that's been a client of yours, like what you're telling me with this nice lady that you ran into shopping. Listen, go ahead, Barry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's interesting that when we have clients come in who, when they're finished signing their documents, you almost see a physical change, a metamorphosis in their demeanor. Like you see their shoulders go down, you see them like take that deep breath, like they got it done, like the relief that they finally got it done. So exactly to your point.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Make sure you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, and you can take advantage of the no-charge in-office consultation. The number's 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. And Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right, have a great weekend.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care. Oh man, that coughing fit I had before the break, I didn't think I was going to make it. I took another dose of Dayquil during the break, and I've got a throat lozenge here. But I was hoping Steve was with me today, because if Steve was with me, he could help me get through the thing. But he's spending time with his family. He told me to take today off. I said no. I missed. Was it Monday? I was off sick. Yeah, Monday. So I said no. I was out sick on Monday, and so now I'm going to come in. All right. If you're on hold though, stand by. And today is Friday, which means it's open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that we bring up on the program. Did any of you catch, just let me finish up on that Ben Shapiro thing. What Israel needs are some new spokespeople. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are terrible spokespeople. I can't think of an example of a company that's run into the same thing, where they have someone that's detestable. I mean, I can't think of an equivalent, right? But it's not good. These are just Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are doing damage to Israel. And, it's very hard for people, for anybody, but especially, personalities, to admit something like that they're bad. But if Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin care and love Israel as much as they say, and I believe they do, they would stop being the lead spokespeople for Israel. That doesn't mean they can't advocate for Israel, but Israel needs spokespeople in this country that are likable. And who that is, I don't know. But they would do better if they had Christian spokespeople supporting Israel, right? They would be much better off than that. And I just don't. I mean, how many people are capable of saying, I'm not liked by the people I'm trying to reach? See, Ben Shapiro is very much liked in the Jewish community. And in his private life, that's most of his circle. He lives in a bubble of a Jewish community. So in his community, everybody loves him. And I'll tell you, I cannot. It's such a funny thing. So many people I know who are Jews all have these Ben Shapiro sightings. Okay, I saw Ben Shapiro here. I saw Ben Shapiro there. I don't live far from him. And I never see him around town, but all my Jewish friends are telling me all the time they're seeing Ben Shapiro here, they're seeing him there. And some of them I know are telling me the truth, but the other ones I don't believe, even though they're friends of mine. But Ben Shapiro is very well liked and loved and supported in the Jewish community. But in the conservative movement outside of it, he's not. And it's not because he's Jewish or he's pro-Israel. He's just a personality that people don't like. Plus, he's a never-Trumper. No matter what he says today, he has a long history of being a never-Trumper. And a lot of people that are MAGA, like me, have not forgotten about that. And remember, Mark Levin was a big never-Trumper. In the first campaign, Ben Shapiro wrote a column, and it was titled, "Why I Will Never Vote for Donald Trump." It was you can look it up online, Google it. It'll pop up. And Mark Levin was a big never-Trumper in the first campaign. Now, they say they've come around, but most MAGA people don't believe it, okay? And I don't either, by the way. I think they both are supportive of President Trump because it's bad. One, it's bad for business not to be pro-Trump in their world. And they also, I think both of them are very arrogant and believe that they're manipulating Trump to help Israel. And Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin probably believe that they're responsible for Trump bombing Iran, which I don't think they have any role in responsibility in that, but they probably think they are, or that influential over him because they're arrogant. And I don't think they're self-aware enough to understand that they're not liked that much, but even by many conservatives, especially Ben Shapiro. But so Megyn Kelly is not off about Ben Shapiro too much. I think her reasoning behind it's wrong. I don't know why she's throwing Barry Weiss into that from CBS. I think Barry Weiss from CBS is doing a wonderful job. You know, Barry Weiss over at CBS that they're freaking out over, what she's doing is amazing. You know, she's bringing accountability back to newsrooms. You know, this story that 60 Minutes was going to run. And by the way, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what I'm talking about with Shapiro and Mark Levin. It's worse with Shapiro than Mark Levin, okay? Barry Weiss is bringing accountability back to these newsrooms, and they don't like it. They think because they're news people, they should just be able to do whatever they want. Well, they can't. They don't own it. Okay? They just work there. This story that they were going to do, which I understand ran on 60 Minutes Australia, was a one-sided story to portray these El Salvadorian prisons as concentration camps where people were being abused, right? And to portray the Trump administration and what they're doing is somehow evil. And I'm here to tell you that story should not have run. But, you know, CBS management, which is Barry Weiss, said no. And people in the news industry are not used to accountability. That's it. They're not accustomed to accountability. They're used to getting away with whatever it is that they want to do and say, and those days are over. I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. Listen to this. This is a review left online for Life Imaging FLA. We went to the Jupiter location to have the heart scan. Got the body scan also. Thank God I did. It showed a spot on my kidney. Took the results to my primary doctor. She sent me for a CT scan. That scan sent me for an MRI, then to a urologist, then to a surgeon. It shows I had kidney cancer. I had no symptoms, not feeling bad or anything. Had to have my whole kidney removed. They had no symptoms. Life Imaging FLA, they found it. That's amazing. I had both of those scans. You should too. Life Imaging FLA has locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. And when you're over there, ask about the full scan. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. We'll be right back. Do you guys agree or disagree with me about Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin being bad spokespeople for Israel? They're just terrible. Okay. All right. All right, we'll be back in about 20 seconds, less than that. All right, we're back. The Dayquil's kicking in. I hear my voice coming back. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you totally. I'm not gonna say that.
Hold on, Richie. Let me answer these lines. My phones are blowing up. All right, yeah, go ahead.
that Ben Shapiro is likable or Mark Levin. I'm not going to stick up for either one of them two, but I'm going to tell you this: you're basically in la la land if you think anybody else, no matter who it is up, because they're up against a major factor, major money coming in from the Muslim community, especially CARE, and it's hard to fight billions and billions of propaganda garbage that's been going on in the colleges.
There's a lot of reporting today of Americans registering as foreign agents for Qatar. You're right, and there may have been
the money.
But Richie, here's the thing: the damage may be beyond repair. However, what they continue to say, these anti-Semites, right, is that the government's controlled by Jews. So you don't want to have Jews as the lead spokespeople. You need to have Christians or something. You know, these are just two bad
I got what you're saying. That won't work. That wouldn't work either because it's already indented in their brains with the, like I said, the propaganda bucks that have come into this country. It's a shame because after this, they're going to go after the Christians. And I was listening. Let me say this to you. I was listening to an imam that was on PPD podcast. I suggest that you check it out. He was on last. Patrick Bet David. He was an imam for peace, and he's actually been he's been an Iranian. He says that they're basically that the Ayatollahs they're criminals, and he says you're up against CARE. He mentioned CARE is disgusting because they're going after. They're the ones that are causing a problem. It all stems from CARE, and that's backed by the mayor of New York. All of them. This is just it's a major propaganda war that we have lost as Jews, and it's coming to Christian community, and that's why they're sticking up for Muslims. It's the money behind it. It's all, and it's in Washington D.C. You don't think a lot of these politicians are bought off? President Trump is independent. We always talk about President Trump. Yeah, we always say he doesn't have to take money from anyone because he's a self-made man. He's a billionaire. But so he doesn't have to worry about it. But you find out how much money some of these guys are taking in their pockets. The guy Tucker Carlson, as far as I'm concerned, is garbage. Nobody can tell me he's not taking money from Qatar. A man with all this money, all this influence, all of a sudden he's buying property in Qatar because he can.
Who would do that?
Baloney.
Who would do that? Yeah, there's something stinks about that. I agree with you. Yeah, everybody knows this. Yeah. But just because the damage is done, and it's really bad, but I'm not ready to give up. But they've got to. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are not likable people. I'm sorry. They're liked in Jewish circles, but not beyond that.
Well, Ben Shapiro, I'm going to say this about Ben Shapiro, is the way he speaks, his actual physical appearance with his eyes and his eyebrows. He looks like he's scolding people no matter what. And it's not. That's not really his
condescending.
Fault.
He's condescending.
His look.
He's condescending.
Oh, he is. He is, and I'm not saying but I don't care if you get Reverend Jerry Falwell when he was alive. I mean, no matter who you would get to stick up for, no matter who you get to stick up for Israel, it wouldn't work today because the money behind all these marches, these colleges that have been bought, these professors, they're all infiltrated.
I disagree. The best spokesperson for Israel his name is Donald John Trump.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So if you just follow Trump, but he's up against all this money and the propaganda.
Now, Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are not self-aware enough to say, "People, I'm unlikable, and I'm hurting Israel." I believe they both think they're manipulating Donald Trump. I think they're both still never Trumpers.
Well, when you brought up the fact that he put his arm around Trump at that was a Jewish thing, but I got to be. And Steve said to you that that's hugging. Well, I thought it was inappropriate, too, when you think about it. Because when you think about it, I mean, you don't do that in public. What you do in private is one thing. What you do in public is another. Yep. But the fact is they are good buddies. I mean, literally good buddies.
It doesn't mean that Mark Levin has good intentions. It doesn't mean that Mark Levin doesn't think he's manipulating Donald Trump.
I think it's beyond that now. I think they're actually. I've heard Mark Levin admit that he was the biggest mistake he ever made.
Neither of us know for sure.
We don't know. We don't know, yeah. But anyway, I want to wish you and your family a happy holiday season again, and health for the new year. And
yeah, if I can just get through this cold. I'm glad the Dayquil kicked in, because about 20. It takes, when I take the Dayquil, I got it timed. It takes 20 minutes, almost to the dot, for it to kick in. My voice was shot 20 minutes ago, and now it's back. All right, Richie, take care. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. Are you in pain? The new year is almost here. Start 2026 pain-free. Go see Dr. Appleton. His laser away pain treatment works. There's no shots, no injections, no pain pills, no surgery, no downtime. Not only is it 100% painless, you don't even feel the treatment when it's happening. The laser away pain treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. And just to sum it up, what Dr. Appleton's robotic laser does is repair the damage that's causing you the pain. That's why the 7 times he's rid me of pain, whether it's from a car accident, falling off my skateboard, or my arthritis pain, all these pains he rid me of. None of the pains have returned, including the arthritis, because his robotic laser repaired the damage that was causing me the pain. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. The consultation's free and appointments are not necessary. So take advantage of the free consultation and let Dr. Appleton share with you how he can rid you of pain. Start the new year pain-free. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. Online at AppletonCairo.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. What's up?
Hey, Brian. How are you? First, I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy and Holy New Year coming up, Brian.
Thank you.
The thing is with Shapiro and
Levin,
is that him and is that when somebody back in the beginning there, they weren't just anti-Trump, they were pretty much militant anti-Trump.
Yes.
And so I'm always going to be suspicious of them, because back then that was the end thing, to be anti-Trump and leader of the pack.
Well, not for me, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Now Shapiro looked like he was trying to make a move on Charlie Kirk's organization.
Yes.
Not too far back.
Yeah.
And the way he was handled on the board with Mark Levin, that was like a physical power move where, look, I control you, I dominate you. The optics of that were terrible.
I think
really
Mark Levin was showing off to his buddies. I got him under control.
That's what I think too.
I'm sorry.
That's what I think too.
I've been around long enough, and I've seen jerks like that before. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It looked like a power move. Even if it just, whoever the president is, but especially with Donald Trump, that was a power move, and the optics were, look, we dominate him, we control him, and they do not. Mm-hmm. But that's something I can't forget, and I'm always going to be a little suspicious of the motivation behind them. But it didn't come out well. It didn't come out well.
No.
And
I can't. I'm trying to think of an example of someone hiring a spokesperson that was a bad spokesperson. I'll give you an example. I finally thought of one. Ben Shapiro, as he's the leading spokesperson for Israel right now. It's like when they hired that weirdo to be the spokesperson for Bud Light.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right?
Well, look what it did for Bud Light.
Oh my! Hold on, let me answer.
Destroyed them.
It destroyed the company.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they're not very good, and their history is not very good. And to give them a pass on this, you really can't. You have to have an element of doubt involved.
And let me tell you, for them to say to dislike someone who's a Jew is not anti-Semitic. We all have people we don't like in our lives. Okay, those two guys are not good spokespeople. They are damaging the brand.
Yes.
And the brand that is Israel, and I support Israel with all my heart. How can you be a Christian and not support Israel?
But I wonder why the leadership of Israel doesn't recognize that. That maybe the choice wasn't such a good one.
Because they, I have Jewish friends who I've talked about this, and they don't understand why I don't like Ben Shapiro. Okay.
Okay.
So in Jewish circles, these guys are rock stars, but outside of Jewish circles in the MAGA world, they're not liked, mainly because they're both known never-Trumpers, especially Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro was during the Stormy Daniels business. He was. I heard him say, "Well, of course he bonked her." Really? Come on.
Well, you know what? The circle that they're in. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the circle there is a relatively small circle. It's a very powerful circle, but it's relatively small, and it doesn't really play out that well among, say, the MAGA people, the huge Christian people circle that's out there. And you think they'd rethink it and say, well, maybe we should rethink this, or bring maybe another spokesman out onto the world scene too.
People,
because they're both
lot of times, see, people are in bubbles. And you lose when you're in a bubble. Sometimes you lose perspective. That's all. And they don't realize. It's like I can't tell you how many Jewish friends of mine have told me they see Ben Shapiro around town. I know that's not true because because I live down the street from him. We live in the same neighborhood, not the same development, but in the same neighborhood. And I never see him. Okay, and I know
I never see him either. I know where he lives and stuff like that, but I've never seen him.
There's only one person I know that has told me this that's telling the truth. And it's because they're he's Orthodox, they're Orthodox, and there's a couple, there's Orthodox restaurants and grocery stores and stuff like this that they go to, and they've seen him in there. But everybody else, I saw Ben Shapiro driving down Military Trail the other day. Bull crap.
Well, the attitude is, well, we like them. How come you don't too? And well, there's a reason we don't. And they need to hear the broader spectrum of the people who are watching, how they affect the media and how they affect the public opinion.
Well, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call.
Okay, you're welcome.
By the way, I don't know at the radio. Can we get Dayquil as a sponsor? Because you see how like 25 minutes ago I couldn't talk. I took Dayquil. 20 minutes later, boom, saved the show, saved me. Make this year that you keep that New Year's resolution and lose the weight that you make the resolution that you're going to lose. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, okay? It works. There's no pills, no injections, none of that Ozempic. You don't have to starve yourself. You can eat foods you normally eat. I didn't do any exercise, and I lost about 1 pound a day. Now, if I exercised, I would have lost more faster. I would have lost more every day, but about 1 pound a day without exercise is pretty good to me. They can help you lose weight no matter where you're located in the world. Give them a call. We have listeners from all over the United States that have literally lost a ton of weight. 25 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 150 pounds, 250 pounds. It is possible. Call right now and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. We'll be right back. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. Can you guys see how that Dayquil worked? I think I even look better than I looked 25 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. All right, if you're on hold, stand by.
Good morning.
Hey, it's Brian. We have about 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to keep you on the line here, but less than that now. 15 seconds. All right.
We'll be open by appointment today.
Okay. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the morning's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking the day after Christmas?
The day after Christmas is setting new records for a lot of the metals. Today, the Christmas Eve, we saw some pullback on very light trading, but silver managed to gain 44 cents on Wednesday. Gold was down $5.10 at 44.7860. Platinum lost $52 at 22.38, and palladium was down $143 at 16.99. That to be said, all those gains have been, or all those losses were erased overnight. And we've seen gold trade in a range of $44.75 all the way up to $4,531. And right now, gold at $4,521 the ounce. That's up $42.40 this morning. The big percentage gainer, silver, trading in a range of $71.90 overnight, all the way up to $75.67 the ounce. Right now, silver's up $2.35 at $74.20 the ounce. Platinum up $142, $2,380 on platinum. And palladium gaining back pretty much all of its losses from Wednesday, up $131 at $1,830 the ounce. So the markets are still soaring ahead, and any kind of dips can be bought, of course, but you don't get much time to do so. So if you see any opportunity in there with a little bit of a pullback, you want to be a buyer if you're looking to add to your positions.
What did you say silver is at today?
Right now, silver is $74.20 the ounce.
Holy
That's up
smokes.
$2.35, and it was up to $75.67 earlier.
Where's silver going next year? That's amazing.
Yeah, most people are pushing and forecasting around $100 silver, although some people are pushing for $250 silver within the next couple of years.
Oh,
but there is a huge shortage of silver in China, and China has been buying a lot of silver right now. So
yeah.
That being said, we don't know what the high could be, but it certainly looks like silver wants to strike out for that $100 number.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Now, what is the supply of gold and silver like over at William Youngerman's?
So fortunately, we have a good supply of all of the products, and you can literally walk out with gold, silver, or platinum. And as I said, we still have one of the best supplies in the country.
Now, it is a national holiday today, the day after Christmas now. First year it's been that, but you're open by appointment today?
Yes, you call before you come, and if you can book a time with me, we'll have limited staff, so be patient when you get there. But if you need to do something today, we're going to try to accommodate as many customers as possible.
Absolutely. Listen, William Youngerman, again, open by appointment today. Monday, back to normal operations for at least the first part of the week. The number is 1-800. Call before you go today, okay? Call before you go. Today, open by appointment only. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And the address, of course, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a great weekend.
I sure will. $74 plus silver, how could you not? All right, take care. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. These numbers are insanely good. It's amazing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott, what up?
Well, I'm kind of disturbed right now from hearing in the social media buzz about all these personalities having at each other in this conservative personality pie fight. Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Mark Levin, and
Mark Levin and Matt Gaetz are on a mission of mutual destruction right now. I'm not getting into the details now, but it's vile between the two of them.
Yeah, and I just wonder about Ben Shapiro has got to be climbing the walls that his sworn arch enemy Fuentes is getting a voice and a podium to be heard by people.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Fuentes is?
Unfortunately. I think he's fed.
You think he's a man?
Well, Tucker Carlson has said that many times.
Oh, really? And then you think Tucker Carlson's
yeah, both of them are. Both of them are.
Oh, pot, hey kettle. But yeah, and Tucker Carlson's okay. He has done something that I saw Glenn Beck do a long time ago when Glenn Beck turned anti.
What's that? Put his
Trump.
face in a bowl of cereal. I remember Glenn Beck doing that. Remember that?
I heard about that. I don't know much about that, but yeah. And well, I didn't like it when Glenn Beck was going after Trump before the primary, and then he went after Trump.
See, here's the thing. What we've come to realize is the late, great Charlie Kirk was holding all of these lunatics in check. Okay?
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I do believe that there was a deep state conspiracy to assassinate Charlie Kirk for the very purpose they're doing, to wound our MAGA movement. And this disagreement between these self-important personalities is doing a lot of damage to us. There's no doubt about it. And there's all kinds of influence and destruction going on by these people. Yeah, and it's getting worse all the time.
And I have, before Charlie Kirk, to some degree, Rush Limbaugh did the same thing. And
did what? What did Rush do?
I mean, well, he was kind of in my opinion, he was kind of the air traffic controller of
yes,
conservative person.
Well, what Rush was, he was the voice of record for the conservative movement, and media is what he was. He was the voice of record.
Yeah, and he was a hit on things and caught things, and I don't think it was. I'll just say, I'll pull something out of the air and tell you, I didn't know about bots. And stuff like
that's still going on.
He was really
you can look this up on X. There was a few weeks back. There was some reporting on X of how Nick Fuentes' popularity was done by bots, foreign bots, and a very big calculated operation. And there was a lot of detailed reporting. Check. I'm running short on time, so I'm going to let you run. But thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's JJ from
Oh, hey, JJ. Hold on. Before I get to you, let me talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Listen, the end of the year is almost here. There are major tax advantages to getting into annuities right now. Call Joe Thomas. He'll tell you all about it. Okay, I'm not the financial expert. Jupiter Joe Thomas is. Give him a call. He offers free consultations, which you can take advantage of if you can go to his office in person in Jupiter or over the phone or through Zoom. No matter where you are, give him a call. His number is 561-743-0999. Remember, Jupiter Joe Thomas has over 30 years of experience in financial planning and retirement planning. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world, and he's offering you a free consultation. But there's great benefits to getting into annuities before the end of the year. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, it's on his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right, go ahead.
Hey, some great calls today. I think one of them, in a kidnapping case, Brian, you always want to get proof of life. And one of your calls today, to me, was just that. It was it's sort of like, our country had been kidnapped by the Democrat Party and all these, a lot of evil people. And the cook in Texas, for me, was kind of like a proof of life call, a real life example, a proof of policy, the economy, and exactly how it affected this one guy. To me, that was one of the best examples of just the simple common sense policies of Donald Trump and how they're working.
The cook
in Texas was an amazing call, explaining all that, and when it first started to happen, I'm like, okay, this sounds a little, and you were a little hesitant, but you asked him the question, you got the information out of the guy. It was just amazing. So that type of thing is happening everywhere, in the country. And another call you had, which was pretty funny. because you had mentioned something. It was about the history guy. You know, he wanted a month of history for. I mean, we only got 12 months. You want like 50.
Yeah.
We got 12, and I'm kind of with Morgan Freeman. You know, in the Mike Wallace interview on that one, he doesn't want a black history. It's all American history. You know, but you had mentioned something during that call which made me laugh. But I thought it was. You said history. We're going to have the history of every. You were just throwing things out that were hysterical. You said the history of hats.
Yes.
And when you said that, though, it brought, you know, as a historian, as somebody like yourself who has, you know, gone to school for history, if somebody said the history of hats for the United States, would that take you someplace?
I've studied that a little bit. Why do you think men stopped wearing hats? If you watch all the old women wearing hats, why do you think that is?
I can't. I just remember the going back to Beaver. I remember the history of the Beaver Wars, the 7-year war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Hudson Company, the Ohio Company.
Exactly.
I mean, Ohio, that's where you're from.
Wouldn't it be interesting if we had the history of hats and we could learn why men stopped wearing hats all the time? Businessmen used to wear hats and stuff all the time, and they stopped.
Yeah,
why?
It was everywhere.
I don't know. We don't have enough.
I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Beaver. I just, you know, because Beaver was such an important part of the economy back then. It was like tobacco. Beaver became currency, just like tobacco was currency. And, you know, it's just, it would be a way, because I know you went to school for history. You wanted to be a teacher. And I know you're working 120 hours now, but maybe in 20 or 30 years when you slow down to 80 hours a week, you could do a little, Craig's History College or something.
That's when I'll be the tour guide at Trump's Presidential Museum here in Florida. That'll be my history work.
That'll be your history. That'll be where
who could better teach. Who would be a better tour guide at the Presidential Museum of Donald Trump than me? I'll be 80 years old.
That would be
in a little wheelchair.
Well, if I'm still around, Brian, I'll definitely come down see. I would love to see that.
Listen, I'm out of time. We only got 10 seconds, but thanks so much. All right. Take care.
Yep.
Take care.
Good.
Well, we had great calls today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve will be with us on Monday. I'm Brian Craig. God bless Donald Trump. All right, we're clear. A couple things. I wanted to play this one thing to you guys before I go. If you're new, by the way, make sure you subscribe. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I didn't get a chance to play. By the way, that Dayquil's amazing. You guys heard me choking out earlier? My goodness. It was like I was in a chokehold by the LAPD earlier. And I took that Dayquil and boom. This mayor of Minneapolis, this just shows how bad it's gotten. Listen to this. Look at this. He's got Tim Waltz behind him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Then tell people to stop resisting. The reason that something like that might happen is because you're telling these illegals that these are unjust stops and arrests, and they're being rounded up like Anne Frank in the attic, and they're resisting because they believe they have a right to be here. People are getting hurt because of the Democrats. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time. I'll be here all weekend, so